Shall we go? Splendid. Then let's go while it's still dark. We'll be less likely to run into brigands this way. One more thing. You seemed quite fond of your new magical talents. In battle, I mean. I take it you're more of an arcanist type then. Am I right? I knew it. I'm asking because I was in the market just now stocking up on provisions and I got myself some new reading material. Here, I think you might find this useful. The Arizalian in My Bed, Sensual Confessions of a Vagabond Lady, Volumes 1 and 2. You know, for the lonely nights. Jokes aside, these are learning books, from arcanists or master fencers, depending on what you read. You know how to fight, but if you want to get better, you have to enjoy reading these once in a while. You're welcome. Then off we'd go, I'd say. You go on ahead. Just take the route leading north out of Riverville. It'll lead us straight to the mountain pass.
Weird, but okay.
Evening, Z.
Hello, more cowbell. Hello, Zalok. So that's an odd way of leveling, and I'm not sure what I think of it. While leveling, you gain learning points, but learning points are useless until you have books. You expend learning points on books to raise skills. Very strange. Oh, of course, I should have leveled when I was still in the town. Whatever. Or in the tavern. Loading.
You go on ahead. Just take the route leading north out of Riverville. It'll lead us straight to the mountain pass.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I think of it.
Good evening.
Hey, what's up? I always find it weird to kind of gauge a leveling system when it comes to an RPG. I mean, I have my own personal ideal, obviously, but most leveling systems are just neither positives or negatives for me. They're just there. It's like, yeah, you can level. And this is how you do it. I suppose the real question will be how much skill is actually required by the end of the game. Because right now I've got, you know, basically nothing in anything, right? 15 across the board, except for elementalism, which I raised barely. And what's the best part is I can't even see what the new skill gives me. Like, for example, it says the higher your skill, mana cost of elemental spells gets subject to the memories of the. Now, I could assume that means it lowers the mana cost of spells. But I'm not sure what else that might mean. Then we got this. Like, okay, that determines damage. I can see that. So that skill determines damage. But this doesn't seem to determine damage, just cost. Maybe? I don't know. Heavy armor determines how much such and such can receive from iron and steel armor. I'm guessing that says defense? So this is kind of the problem here. Just sort of flying blind. Guess I should be doing this. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's certainly better than the default Elder Scrolls leveling system, which I've never liked. Been a fan of Elder Scrolls games since 3. Never enjoyed leveling in them. Although, for example, I'm not sure if, Oblivion, for example, would get a negative for the leveling system, so much as the scaling system. Okay, Jasper actually has stats. That's interesting. God, that cost half my mana. Yeesh.
Now look at that. A lonesome traveler. Some folks just never work.
Okay. Start being a little pickier about what I loot. Did they just take over the local inn? Why are the bandits this much out of control? I mean, I suppose you could say the same thing about other Elder Scrolls games. How's the Voot going? I should check on that. So what you're saying, Loner, is we're gonna need a montage. Even Rocky had a montage. Something like that. Well, there's only one Voot Lycon. But I'm guessing you're asking for a link, so you're going to have to give me a second on that. Because the only way to link you is to kill everything. Yeah, I mean, to pull this up. Or Zalok could get there before me. Thank you, Zalok. I had a friend once who went into an inn. It wasn't an inn, actually. It was just a place where he could sleep. And he would just cast spells, rest, cast spells, rest, cast spells, rest.
Hang on a second.
What's up? Jasper?
Quite the sight, isn't it? It's moments like these that make life so damn worth living.
I agree.
This place was once a trading post, in case you're wondering.
Damn it.
But it's been deserted ever since the isolation.
What's the isolation?
Yeah, that's what we call the decree that was made 30 years ago here in Enderal. Simply put, the Order decided to reduce their trade with other countries of the civilized world to a minimum. Not a very economical choice to make, but that was roughly the time when the Lightborn Eradan left Narim. The Order was probably afraid something similar could happen in Enderal. You know, open harbors quicken the exchange of information, which in turn quickens rebellious thinking, and so on. Since the decree, trading in Enderal has been subject to very strict regulations, and only the wealthy can still afford things like Termatralian wine or Chilean spices. Anyway, since then, a lot of once flourishing trading posts have closed down, such as the Three Rivers Watch down at the Sun Coast, or this one. Yeah, if you want to take a look for yourself, feel free. If not, let's push on. We still have a good march ahead of us.
Jesus Christ, what controversy, Sonic? You know what, here's what I have to say about that.
Eager to explore, aren't you? Take your time, I'll wait. I can use a break anyway.
If it's because of the Japanese look of Eris, they're dumb, and that's all I have to say about that. Oh, it's about Barrett now. Nope. They're dumb. Moving on. Oh, Jesus Christ. No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
Still alive? Good. Let's go. We shouldn't waste any more time.
I'm looking for a mod, guys. Give me a second. Apparently, there is no Enderal version of the Spiders Be Gone mod. So we're gonna try and do this the old school style and see if this works at all. Might not. We should probably exit the game over here. That, seriously, Maverick? Because that's an awesome option. I'm not even kidding about that. Actually, come to think of it. Aw. So there's actually a bunch of options in this game, but unfortunately it doesn't look like any of them have to do with getting rid of spiders. Dang. Okay. Let's see if this does anything, shall we? Jesus, Maverick, that's terrifying. I mean, I'm glad they included the option, but yikes. course, it's going to take a million years to load, like it always does. Sigh. Please work. It worked! Okay. T-posing bears. I mean, I'd take it, personally. Hang on. Do you see this guy's shoes? I'm going to pretend I'm Mass Effect 3 for a second. Sorry. Whatever. Let's do those. Why are we unlocking memories? That's what I want to know. I mean, I'm sure we'll find out at some point. What? Oh, I guess I'm going the right way. Alright, whatever. Get back here, dinner! I even pre-cook it. Why is it always wolves? Oh, nature's terrifying. That's why we need to destroy it as quickly as possible. If we just remove nature, we won't have any issues anymore. We replace it with an entirely synthetic life. And then issues like this will never happen again. Won't that be wonderful?
Some folks.
What? I don't have a preference between mana systems and cooldown systems, Loner. I do not like D&D's magic system. I never have. Not since I was a kid. In fact, most of the times I just completely supplant the D&D system with the usual points-based system. Which is funny because the math for that is basically already done for you. The level of the spell is the mana cost of the spell, and every time you get a such and such level slot, you gain that much mana instead. Like I think there's a couple addendums to that, but it's almost 1-to-1. Let's try that again.
Eager to explore, aren't you? Take your time, I'll wait. I can use a break anyway.
So it's not fall off this time.
Some folks just never learn.
Maybe.
Lucky.
That all you got?
You fucking scum! You'll pay for that! No, that's all you've got.
Hang on.
Like this.
Yeah, I could really use your help down here. Okay, sure. God dang it. I'm going to kill these bandits. It's happening. Yeah, I keep forgetting to King's Fold. See, the problem is, in my opinion, shouts are garbage. So I never use shouts over in Skyrim. So I'm not really, you know, inclined to hit Z all that often. I need to get to the mindset. Let's try this again.
Eager to explore, aren't you?
I will
Take your time,
stab
I'll wait.
you,
I can use a
Jesper.
break anyway.
Jasper? Oh, whatever. Whatever your name is. Hi.
That's all you've got. Some folks just never learn.
Damn you!
You fucking scum! You'll pay for that!
I'm not gonna give you my boot. What do you think you are, Mass Effect 3? Sorry.
That's all you.
Where the hell is she? So anyways, as the say. But yes, thank you for linking the vote for me, so I don't have to alt-tab. The less I have to alt-tab in a Skyrim game, the better, am I right? Excuse me. Ooh, leeks. I love leeks. Where's all that food I cooked? And you have to tell us what you vote, obviously, Who Girl. That way we know how to ostracize you. Because everything has to be a big bipartisan issue, right? Everything! But that's dinner. That's pheasant. Although I've never actually had pheasant in real life, so I don't know how it tastes. I've noticed I'm not actually a fan of bird meat in general. Like chicken? Not my thing. Turkey? I don't mind processed turkey. No, I'm a cow person.
Eager to explore, aren't you? Take your time, I'll wait.
Why do you keep saying that? Why did you just nearly die to that guy? Oh my god. Don't die, don't die, don't die. Don't die. Oh, it's okay, he's essential. Right, I forgot how everything is essential.
Huh?
These guys aren't even high level. What the hell, man? Do I need to level him? Is that a thing I can do? I don't care for Duck all that much either. Jesper, what are you doing? Hey, dude. Whatever, I'm just gonna go this way.
Ah, there you are. Let's push on.
What's the other one I had? Maybe... No, it wasn't. Maybe I am thinking of Duck. There's some kind of thing that's really... I'm sorry, Ooh Girl. Sweet. It was a really sweet meat. Like, almost bizarrely sweet, really. Took some getting used to. I've only had it once at a Mongolian barbecue place. Maybe I'm thinking of lamb. Because that doesn't sound like duck. I still prefer cow over everything else. Ah! I don't know, it was something that I've only had, like, that one time. That was a very high health drat. What in the world? I'll take all of those. Interesting. Need to fill up that spell book. It's for wizards, you know. Yeah, I prefer lamb at Indian. So I guess I have had lamb at Indian rather often, so never mind. So it couldn't have been lamb. What the heck was it? Now you got me curious, guys. It wasn't venison. I've never had venison. At least not to my knowledge. I'm not a mage. What are you talking about, officer? Nothing to see here. Nothing to see.
Sir?
Nope. Nope. Don't mind me. What about Anthem? Songs to be performed. Thou art my sweet spring blossom, your lips as sweet as honey pie. Naught compares to your golden hair. Blow me like a battle trombone. These are all the names of songs. If a grunt root, parsley, or god's tongue, if sheercap mint or potions, done. Mirabella's mixtures has them all herbs for the alchemist's soul. Ah! Oh, hi. That could have been it, Maverick. I really don't remember. It was a long time ago. Lyrical outpours and other fluids. Wild poetry presented by the poet. Father Torrenthal recites the Holy Path, verses 17 through 25, the revelation of the Lightborn.
An obulus, my sir.
Here, have pennies.
Thank you. You truly are a good.
No, I'm not. I just wanted to give you money. Yeah, you see why the end of that just made me sad, Saldir?
Welcome to Ark. I've got some things to take care of here. So let's meet at the market once you're ready to meet Grandmaster Tealor Renthiel and his mages in person, alright?
Okay. I thought he was imprisoned in Nerim.
By his own son, Nerazil, yeah. But roughly 2.5 years ago, he suddenly appeared back in Enderal, accompanied by a handful of mages who once fought against him in the Great War. Weird, I know, but that's how it was.
So let me get this straight. The Lightborn's most trusted servant returned to Enderal with his former archenemies.
He did, yeah. It seems that something happened between him and them that made them sort out their issues, you could say.
Right.
They're allies now, and frankly, nobody quite knows why. You can imagine what kind of uproar that caused among the Holy Order itself. But in the end, Renthiel got things his way. You can say what you want about him, but he never lost his charisma, that's for sure.
So the Lightborn's most vicious enemies work with the Lightborn's most faithful servants. Okay.
You're telling me. But apparently their alliance has something to do with this red madness. I guess we'll see what happens.
Alright, whatever.
Great. Then see you later and enjoy your stay.
Yeah, no, I feel you, Sal. If you gotta rage, rage up, by all means. But, I mean, you saw my reaction. I wasn't angry, I was sad. That was, I don't mean sad like, oh, pathetic. No, I mean, I was on the verge of tears.
My sir, do you have a moment? I think the two of us could do business together.
I agree. Let's do business.
Do you have a moment?
Business! This is... You don't exist. You don't exist! Alright, whatever.
Well, it is actually quite simple. But since you were kind enough not to just ignore me and walk by as the others did, I would like to share my gratitude for that first. You travel a lot, don't you? I can tell by the mud on your boots. Here, one of these books might come in handy on your journeys. Which one do you prefer?
What's the catch?
Believe me, there is none. Happy customers always return, and in order to make you happy, I first have to convince you of the superb quality of my products. See it as a sample.
Alright, well, I'll take enchanting.
Splendid. Say, would you happen to be interested in earning yourself some more coins? Or, even better, more books like those? There is something I need help with.
Alright, what is it?
I have a problem, and this problem is called Celia, which happens to be my sister. Where should I start? You know, I am one of those people who wasn't given everything by fate. Quite the contrary, in fact. When I was a child, The village I grew up in, Foamville, was ambushed by bandits, and both my father and my mother died during the attack.
Thank you, but it's ancient history now.
Fact is, my sister and I dealt with this event differently. We managed to flee the attack and make it to Ark, where the guards, of course, threw us into the Undercity. But while I tried to honor my father's heritage by using the little I could from our savings by setting up a business, she preferred to wallow in her misery instead. She got to know the wrong people and has, since then, never done a single bit of honest work. Frankly, she's a dust addict. Day and night she does nothing else but rot in those drinking holes in the Undercity and blows what little money she makes on her drage.
Now, of course, she is still my sister, so all of these years I paid her rent so she doesn't have to sleep on the streets. However, things have changed. Recently she started using our father's heritage to pay for her addiction, and I will not accept that.
Okay. What's Dust Addict?
Of course, you wouldn't know that. Glimmercap dust, the blue bliss, or however you want to call it. It's a drage, a dangerous one. Apparently, it makes you feel as if you're walking the eternal paths, but it also kills you quicker than the sunfire.
Okay, so why don't you just talk to her?
Oh, believe me, I did. Which is why she simply hid the key to our safe in the bank somewhere that I couldn't find it. So, long story short, this is where you come in. I want you to get her to give me that key. How you do it is up to you. But if you succeed, it won't be to your disadvantage.
Alright, where can I find her?
Anywhere there's rats and dust. But she spends most of her time in the False Dog in the Undercity. One of those dumps I told you about. Just come back to me once you've found something.
Oogie. By the way, hi, Trunifor. Well, let's see if we can find this thing, even though I'm not a thief and have no ranks in sneaking or anything, really.
Foreigner, aren't you? I wish I'd have crossed the Red Sea once, or seen Kira, the Grand Bazaar. Ah, well.
I know, it's very sad. Allow me to... No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Yes, this is a Skyrim total conversion mod. Also, Drew Karpyshyn, the more I've examined the man's writing, the more I'm convinced he's actually not a good writer. Like, it's one of those weird things, right? I look at him like... I don't even have a good parallel for that. It's like someone who makes one good thing and then tries to keep doing it and then fails every other time they try. I mean, I know that a lot of people probably wouldn't agree with me on that, and that's fine. It's just... Yikes. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Let's pull this up here. Get rid of that. Pull this up. No. There we go. Yeah, like Shyamalan would be a decent example of that. I don't know who Paul Anderson is, though, so I can't comment on that. Hello, Aleph.
Huh? Can I help you?
Yes, you can
We
die.
always go too easy on the scum.
Well, never mind then. Yeah, most people I hear like Darth Bane and Mass Effect 1. And that's it, under the Drew Karpyshyn label. Mass Effect 2 was written by a significantly larger team, which Karpyshyn was a fairly small portion of. And then there's KOTOR 1, which also had a team.
Some shifts never end.
And then there's Tor, where he wrote the Jedi Knight storyline, which was awful. Wait, who did Paul Anderson did Event Horizon? Because bleh, vomit, just vomit everywhere. What's funny is I kind of forgot how bad Jedi Knight was until the Tor Let's Play. There we go.
A penny, my sir. Please, just one penny.
Well, since I can't give you any pennies, I'll just leave.
An obulus, my...
I can give you some, though.
Oh, thank you. You truly are a good person.
That's actually horrible, Plutonia. Like, that sort of makes me disgusted. Hey, what's up? So, your brother sent me.
Oh, does he now? Good old Milburn and his silver tongue. Now he has found himself a lackey to do his dirty work for him.
Well, yeah.
Let's make this short. I'll keep the key. No idea what he told you, but it wasn't the truth. Because if it were, he sure as fuck wouldn't be here.
Okay, so what exactly is your version of the truth?
Milburn. I'm sure he told you about the raid in our village, didn't he? Well, there's one thing he didn't tell you. After those fuckers killed our parents and tried to break into our house, he left me behind. Took all the valuables he could carry. Just ran away.
Yeah, as if.
If I hadn't managed to flee, he wouldn't have shed a fucking tear for me.
But since fate was so kind to me, things turned out differently. I made it out alive and walked all the way to Ark, where I thought he was.
So, you'd think he was glad to see me when I found him in these tunnels, wouldn't you? Well, you're wrong. He let me sleep in the room he paid for from our parents' money.
That should
But
be
made
it.
me feel as if it was a privilege. And guess what? That hasn't changed. Until today. Yes. He pays for my room in the barracks. But that's about it.
Yeah, but he needs the money or else he's going to close the shop and then you'll have to sleep on the street.
Worth it. It has been far too long since this asshole has seen the mud of the Undercity.
Okay, so your brother's a prick. Why do you need the money?
I survived.
Child.
That's more than most people around here manage. And please, spare me your moral speech. I'm done with. I know that. But it doesn't change the fact that it's Milbert's fault, too.
Let's just give me the key.
Are you deaf? I said no! But obviously, I need to put it another way. Fine. Fine, I get it. You win. I'll tell you where the key is. But don't expect too much. The money's almost gone. Close to the entrance of the pit, there are some barrels. I hid it there. Go. And do what you have to do.
Walk blessed.
May your path always be.
I mean, she did literally hit me first. I even checked to make sure I wasn't about to spell fry lightning her to death before I started punching. Just to make sure. How's the game so far? I have no idea, Aleph. Also, hi, Revan King. I'm glad you're enjoying Sekiro. Good luck with the owl. Like, there's some good details. and some background elements, legitimately.
He'll come around.
Bloody steel
He
clamps.
has to.
The main plot hasn't even started yet, so I can't really comment on that.
A sunchild, huh?
The sound balance is awful. The gameplay is mostly Skyrim with mods. I don't know.
All right, Sunchild. You stop right there.
Wow, color me impressed. I'm almost scared. I'm going to count to 3. If you're not gone by then, you'll be picking your teeth up from the dust.
Think you're tough?
Ah, for God's sakes. Hang on. Come on, game. There we go. Why are they killing each other? I mean, I guess I don't care. But, you know, whatever. Oh, they're dead. I mean, this is legitimately an impressive accomplishment, and I mean that sincerely. Little things like these are what impress me the most. These and the voice acting. I know what you're thinking. Wait. The voice acting, I thought you commented earlier that it was kind of middling. The quantity of voice acting that has been done here is not insubstantial. The fact that random passerbys on the street and NPCs that don't actually have quests have voice acting is good. That's a good touch. And I don't know if you've been paying attention, but there's a lot of variety of these posters. That's why I've been kind of glancing at them as I go throughout. So I think I feel safe in going ahead and giving a potential story positive here for... Because honestly, I am reasonably impressed with it. Although, if you haven't voted, by the way, I know a couple people just hopped in here, please vote. Because we need to decide that. I basically can't judge much about the gameplay right now until we decide that vote. I mean, I can decide a few things. Like, for example, what the heck do I think of the leveling system? I'm still really debating the leveling system. So I should break it down from what I understand of it so far. So, as you level, so you gain experience, actual straight-up experience, by killing things, succeeding at checks like lockpicking or stealing, crafting, mining, all that stuff, right? So all of that is stuff that gains you experience and goes into your level. Once you level, you gain additional points. Those points, and I'm actually going to show it off here really quick here. So those points include the learning points, crafting points, and memory points. Now each level gives you a memory point. I believe there are other ways to get these points as well. Learning points are consumed by reading books, which raise your skills, these skills in the middle here. Crafting points are consumed to raise your workmanship skills. And apparently, and from what I read earlier, craftsman books are much easier to come by and require far less of your economics to deal with. Whereas it made a point of mentioning that learning books are going to be far rarer, and you're going to have to be able to set aside a decent chunk of your income in order to afford those. So in other words, in order to raise your actual skill levels, you need levels, to actually go out and do stuff, money in order to afford the books, and the books themselves in order to raise the points. Okay, I'm with that. Then the memory points are the easiest one. These are talents, just to use the traditional thing, and that's what these things are. The ability to raise some of your talents. It's exactly what it sounds like. So let's go ahead and grab... Did we already get this? Yeah, we did. Let's go ahead and unlock that. That's true, Kagler. Calger? one of the things I used to say, and I had a lot of people disagree with me on this, and I stand by my statements, is that I always thought of gold as experience in Morrowind. Specifically Morrowind. Because the way I leveled in Morrowind, pretty much ever since I discovered this onwards, was by going to the trainers and putting gold into raising my skills, right? And thus, for me, gold basically became experience points, thus spending them directly on to raise my skills, which was a system that made sense to me. And I was actually okay with that system. Like, I had nothing wrong with that system. Oblivion kind of half-wayed it. It's actually something I don't really care for when it comes to Oblivion, is the halfway system they got. Because money can mean levels, but only about halfway. Basically, you can get functionally half of a level out of raising your skills with money. And it's important to note that when I say half of a level, what I mean is you can only raise 5 skills per level with money. So you get 5 out of every 10 skill ups out of money. So literally half of your leveling is money-based, or can be money-based, I should say. And the other half is, you can just go and actually raise it. On the one hand, it did actually work out pretty well. But on the other hand, I don't know. I feel like, see you around, Silder. I feel like an all-or-nothing option, like basically allowing you to just put all of your money into experience or all of it into leveling as your choice would have been something I would have preferred more. Regardless. And then Skyrim came along, and then leveling is just weird in Skyrim. We've talked about that. I don't want to get into that right now. But I do agree with Aleph. Way too many RPGs don't answer the money problem. What do you do with the coin that you generate in a game? Or to put it into MMO terminology, a lot of games have gold fountains, but very few games actually bother with gold sinks when it comes to single-player RPGs. Usually, a lot of RPGs go the very brute force method in order to get gold out of your equipment. What in the world? There we go. To get gold out of your inventory. In other words, gold sinks. For example, and I'll use Oblivion as an example here, Oblivion would make it so that you could spend tens of thousands of gold on buying houses and improving them. And the amount, like if you were to actually figure out, like if you were to sit down...
What do you want? To cock at me? Just leave. Please.
Anyways, if you were to actually sit down and do like a pie chart of expenses, of things you can spend money on in Oblivion, it'd be like, there'd be a sliver here, which is, bribing people for disposition, a much smaller sliver, which is useful actual items you can buy, and then the overwhelming majority would be like cosmetic stuff like housing, or upgrading the stronghold, or buying rooms and furniture, and that kind of a thing, right? Like, that's what a lot of single-player RPGs do, is they have like one type of expense which just takes up the overwhelming amount of your money, and that's their way of getting rid of money from your inventory. Don't mistake me, I like Oblivion, but I can speak ill of it as much as I want to because it is a severely flawed game. I think I'm going to go ahead and use that while I'm here. And these two. Yeah, the Zelda games are another good example. There's usually a couple of rupee sinks in Zelda games, and then once you get past those initial sinks, then you don't really need money ever again.
30 per sheep, and not 1 penny less.
Oh, let the flesh maggots have you.
May your path always be even, my dame.
Eh.
What do you want? To cock at me?
A lot of the games we've been playing of the D&D style, the CRPGs, their usual approach to getting money out of your inventory is either to allow you to spend money on, something else, like the kingdom management stuff of Pathfinder Kingmaker, or by making equipment ludicrously expensive. Funnily enough, that's also the pen and paper D&D's method of getting rid of money. You spend it on real estate, or you spend it on stupidly expensive items. And again, if you were to pie chart it out, the overwhelming majority of those expenses would be just those one or two things. So... I mean, there's a reason why high-level D&D adventurers basically stop carrying gold. They'll carry some plats, maybe. Can I help you? You know who this guy is. Oh, whatever, he's dead. That's all that matters. I leveled. Woo! Well, like, for example, the, oh, what are they called? There's something they use in high-level adventurers in pen and paper in several settings. And it's basically a scrip of paper, which is worth 100,000 gold each. And the actual paper has value. It's not just a scrip of paper. It's actually something you could turn in. Are you a bandit? Nope. Okay, die. That you could turn in for... like a really high-level spellcast or something like that, like a free spellcast. Oh yes, I have absolutely discussed it before, Loner, during the Neverwinter Nights lore run, specifically. Although I feel like I've discussed it in other points as well, because it's me and I tend to talk about economics. Sorry. Nah, there's a specific term for him, Shunifar. I can't think of it. It doesn't matter. Yeah, this place is really dark and depressing, isn't it? You can tell because they keep cussing. Yes, the Epic Handbook discussed is what I'm talking about. The 3rd edition Epic Handbook. It's something they use in Sigil a lot, to use a specific example. Witcher 2. I don't know. I mean, I feel like the cussing is a little more cussy here in this one. What? No. Why does it keep doing that? Yeah, a little more 90s. I'm telling you, there's a tone to it. Apparently, being undead is punishment from Malphus, smiting those who are pathless in life. They are refused entry into the eternal paths, instead forced to wander the world as soulless monsters. Eh. That's cute. Did I get me curious? Hang on a second. Because there was a friggin' term for the things. Maybe it really was just spell vouchers, but I thought it was an actual term for it. Because I remember it gave me an idea for something in my own setting for,
in the old days.
For economics. Bleh, whatever. I'm streaming. I'll look it up later.
Yes?
Wait, this is the noble quarters? Of course there's guards up here. Why wouldn't there be?
Well, there comes a point when you just have to live with it.
Please, I'm so hungry.
Is the sky supposed to look like that? Jeez, where are we? What kind of world has that kind of a sky? Or plane, or dimension, or whatever. Uh-oh, Caspian asked a question. Hang on, let's double check what it is. Caspian says, "Why are you so fat and ugly?" Well, it's very simple. You see, I am powerless, worthless, and terrible. And so as a consequence of that, I have no ability, because power is defined as the ability to do, right? So, because of lack of ability to do, I can't actually do to resolve or fix the problems I'm faced with. Make sense? I will actually answer you, though, for your real question. So he asked, why is Attack of the Clones better than Phantom Menace? That is a fascinating question. And I mean that sincerely, because I dislike Attack of the Clones more. But Phantom Menace is a more demonstrably broken and bad film. And I've pondered this question for many years, and I think the ultimate answer is that, while Attack of the Clones is a better film, Phantom Menace has more highlights to it. As specific moments or sections of competency or cool factor that actually help to elevate Phantom Menace. Whereas Attack of the Clones has... I want to say 3 good scenes in the whole film. That's just my opinion, obviously, but and everyone's going to vary on that one. So, there's nothing but blood left where he was. That's great. You know, say what you like. I very much enjoy the pod racing section. I do, unironically. I also enjoy the Darth Maul fight. Favors. That is it. True enough. I knew there was a terminology for it. But yeah, episode 1, in my opinion, has several legitimately interesting and cool sequences, some of which are decently long. Even the Darth Maul fight, which is mostly flash, still has some legitimately excellent choreography and visual storytelling. One of my favorite scenes in the entirety of episode 1 is how simply and succinctly the 3 philosophies on the Force are presented towards the end of the fight with Maul. It's when the force fields go up, right? The force fields go up within seconds. As soon as Qui-Gon sees those force fields goes up, he turns off his lightsaber and kneels to meditate. Right? There's no dialogue in that scene. But we get the storytelling just bam, just right there. Maul, he attacks the force field first before finally letting his lightsaber go down. And he just paces. Like, oh, it's just... And even Obi-Wan is back, and Obi-Wan, the third perspective, is back there like, come on. And the way all 3 of them come out of the pause period with the force field also is indicative of their mindsets. You know what I mean? So that's an actually good scene. You know what I mean? But yeah, by contrast, episode 2, I mean, there are good moments in episode 2. I'm going to go ahead and unabashedly say that I like the Yoda versus Dooku fight. Although that is tempered by the fact that I really didn't like the Dooku versus Anakin versus Obi-Wan fight, which was disappointing and way too short. Yeah, exactly. True to form. I also enjoy most of the fight on Geonosis. Like, legitimately. Most of the battle for Geonosis is actually pretty good, in my opinion. And... you don't want to buy death sticks. I would also go so far as to say that basically every scene Palpatine in is good. Palpatine was in is good. But I think that's fully on the strength of Ian McDiarmid as an actor. So anyways, that's my answer to you, Caspian. I hope that kind of gives my opinion on it a bit. If you asked me to rate the Star Wars saga right now, first of all, we're going to take Episode 8, and we're not going to rate it, because I don't feel like dealing with that, okay? So, from 1 to 7, I would say Empire is number 1. So, Empire and Return and Revenge are both basically tied for me. Because especially when I went back through Both films are very flawed films, if we're being honest. Both have really stupid parts, and some things that are just kind of, huh? However, both Revenge of the Sith and Return of the Jedi have extremely powerful, excellent character moments for me. Things that just make me just cheer and just like, yes, yes, that's so good. So, Empire, Return and Revenge basically tied. Probably Rogue One next, if we're being honest, if we're going to go ahead and include that. After that, I would probably go... This is when it gets more difficult. I would probably go... I don't know. I'm torn between 7 and 4. So 7 and 4, somewhere in there. Either tied or one above the other. And then we go down to, I guess, 1. And then go down to 2. And I don't know where Solo would sit on this. Solo would probably sit up around 4 and 7. So there's like the middle ground, which is 4, 7, and Solo. There's the movies I don't actually care for that much. That's 1 and 2. And then there's, you know, the upper stuff, which is 3, 6, and Rogue. Or, no. And then, yeah, no, that's right. 3, 6, and Rogue. And at the very top is Empire. And I know that I said something different about that years ago, but I actually went back and revisited that opinion, and I've changed my mind on it. Empire is just an extraordinarily well-crafted film. Like, weirdly well-crafted. What about you, Aleph? And anyone else who feels like answering the question. Now I just don't like to talk about it, Caspian. Because in my experience, even bringing up The Last Jedi is a mistake. Even mentioning it starts arguments, even on my channel. I made a casual reference to it during Anthem. And immediately people in chat started arguing about it. You know? Whoa! Whoa! The hell is that? This is where you sleep? Anyways, I've gotten a lot of, you know, heresy comments over the years. Because, honestly, I don't actually rate 4 all that high. 4, to me, is like Legend of Zelda 1. Or Mega Man 1. It's not bad, right? And it was a Hallmark film. In many, many ways, Star Wars Episode 4 really actually managed to push filmmaking and cinematography forward, and arguably got science fiction films into the spotlight to the point where they could be, you know, properly addressed by studios as something other than a, you know, once every 10 years pet project kind of a thing. Like, don't mistake me, there were good sci-fi films before Star Wars. But again, usually the approach was, okay, we want to make a sci-fi film, and so they would do so once every several years, and the rest of it would just be schlock, you know what I mean? Science fiction films, in the eyes of the average movie-going public, especially here in the States, were schlock with the occasional jewel. Star Wars was the beginning of that really starting to shift over. How much of Empire would I credit to Kirshner? I don't know. I've read a lot of the behind-the-scenes of Empire, so at the very least a decent chunk of it. God, that's hard to read. But yeah, exactly, Leander. Star Wars Episode 4 is a great foundation film. From a purely literary perspective, I would say the one thing Episode 4 does best is background building. Like, background world building, more specifically. if you actually sit and pay attention to episode 4 and just kind of think of it in a vacuum, they do mention and exposit quite a bit about the greater galaxy. And they do so in what I consider to be proper expedition. They don't sit and say, as you know, the Clone Wars, which just ended 15 years ago, involved the clone... They don't do that. They mention the Clone Wars, I believe, twice in the film. And both times it's in context of an old and terrible war which involved Leia's father and Obi-Wan Kenobi. And that's all they say. But we get what we need from that, you know? I probably would too, Leander. Have they really, Loner? That's funny. Okay, I'm not seeing a lot of other hints here. What else we got? Let's try that. Nope. Of course I have True to 4. It's a nice little creative exercise. And in fact, I end up doing that a lot when people ask me to critique their work. You can ask some people in chat about that, even. Alright, what am I missing here? Hi, Cubic. I started today. This morning. As you know, is one of those things that's actually, in my opinion, it's one of the easiest types of bad exposition to replace. Because all you have to do is use it in context. Like that. It's such an easy concept. It's one of the reasons why, as you know, bothers me so much. It's because it is such an easy thing to write around. No. Well, whatever. I guess that's all I got here. The other really big trick I find is to, and this is such a simple trick, but this is one of the most common tricks I use when it comes to writing dialogue, is to say it out loud. I discovered this years ago. Dialogue sounds completely different when you read it internally or when you speak it out loud. And so I try to rewrite dialogue so it sounds more natural when it's actually spoken. Otherwise, you end up with theater syndrome. Which isn't an actual lorium, and I just came up with that term right now, but it fits, so whatever.
Good pipe of peace, Wade. Jesus, why is that stuff so...
Yeah, Anthem had theater syndrome a lot. That's part of why it's fresh in my mind. You could also just call that the first draft problem, because that is what that is. That is something that needed a few more passes. Yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy XII. Good examples of dialogue that reads well written out loud. Now, I know not everyone likes the dialogue in those games because they go for a version of New English, a very stylized version of New English, which gets a little bit too much into purple prose. But having literally heard Final Fantasy XII out loud, I think they did a good job with the dialogue in that game. My opinion. I agree, Tactics Ogre also had excellent dialogue on the PSP. You see, people are already talking about The Last Jedi. We haven't gotten to arguing yet. Passively mentioned it, and immediately people go, well, you know. You can't get away from it. There's a reason it's a forbidden topic. Or not forbidden, but no, that's true. It's on the forbidden list. It's not controversial, but it is on the forbidden list.
That's just how it is. Everything was better in the old days.
Don't worry, guys. I'm sure the Game of Thrones writers will do an excellent job. I hear so many good things about their writing. No, Leander, let's not get a fake war going in chat. If I wanted to do that, I'd just say something stupid that I don't actually mean, like, Last Jedi was the best film ever. Or, Last Jedi was the worst film ever. You can say either one, that's the funny part. Doesn't matter.
Yes?
It is a film, or a movie. I actually heard some people argue that. And that is as much as you'll probably ever get me to actually ruminate on that film, legitimately. I've thought about tearing down the discussion video about that. You know, the restream, or the stream archive, rather. Well, no, because The Last Jedi isn't actually controversial. See, that's why I had to clarify my own statement there. Controversial topics is stuff that I won't talk about, period. That's just something that I basically disallow on my show, right? Like, there's the controversial channel in Discord, and that's it. But then there's the Forbidden List. Forbidden List is stuff that I'll never cover on the show, you know. No ruminations, no streams, right? And TLJ is on the Forbidden List. This is going to be a bit of a trip. I'm pretty sure by this point they're at the full digital phase. There's River. So it's not near anything. Whatever. Hey, Norgafel. Cannon. Really? That's like a 10-foot drop. Okay, we're dead. And thus, no, face first would be like this. Whee! And that didn't do anything. Didn't do anything. Oh no, that added a crime? Who saw my crime? There are no witnesses. There, see, last bounty. Oh, he was in... Why is everyone freaking essential? Oh my god. Twisted Mike. It's funny, Subverse is by definition also forbidden. But as I already mentioned, it's not controversial because, I mean, whatever. Shrug. No, controversial topics are topics that people have proven that they can't talk about without it devolving into anger and rage and ranting and all that fun stuff. That's a controversial topic. Hello, Cody. Where's my Switch? I could play a video game while I'm doing this. Wait. No, I've got it. I'll play a phone game. Those are the latest rage, right? People like playing phone games. I shall play... Hang on. The best phone game ever. Plants vs. Zombies. Alright. Death to the zombies. Super death. Mega death. It's not even done loading. I might actually get there before it loads. Oh, here we go. Adventure. Yes, let's go. Quick. I'm getting stuck on a rock while it's loading. Whoop, hang on. Hang on, hang on. It's true, some folks never learn. Thank you for contributing to the Enriching the Lore Runner Fund. Or Errol Runair, sorry. Any questions? No, we all know the best mobile game is Candy Crush. I mean, that's just obvious, right? Damn, bandits don't even have anything worthwhile on them anymore. What the hell? Ugh, I just killed 2 people for nothing. Ah, well. As long as they walked their paths, I'm sure they have a good afterlife waiting for them. Now, in case you don't get the joke there, one of the things that they mentioned earlier is that anyone who is a bandit is, by definition, not on the path, and therefore, according to the lore of the setting, which is probably a lie, doomed to roam the earth forever as a soulless abomination. Yes, I do remember Caspian. I even remember killing the birds! Epically, with an arrow in my hand. Aw. I guess there's no reason to explore since there's no fast travel, so whatever.
Your dedication will be rewarded.
Well, I don't know if that's true, but I suppose we'll find out in a second. That's from Dramatic Pause. Vigilant! Vigilant says, why are you so dumb? Well, Vigilant, when I was a child, and when I mean I was a child, I mean when I was less than a day old, my mother accidentally dropped me in between the gap in between the bed and the wall. This is not actually a joke. This actually happened. And now I got stuck there. I didn't actually fall all the way to the ground and hit my head. But they were very curious of where I was, and they couldn't find me at first. But then they heard me going, eh. Like, I wasn't crying. I was very, very young. I wasn't at that point. I was just going, and just kind of squiggling under there, trying to move. Oh, you actually put that towards Battlefleet Gothic 2. I'm sorry. Let's try that again. Thank you very much, as always, Vigilant. And I have jotted that down. So... I still need to actually sit down and watch that. But I'm glad you liked it. I've heard a lot of good things about it. Baby Laura,
No. Now you listen to me. I am sick of your fucking lies. Sick of you pretending to give a shit about me whenever it's convenient. Sending a cell sword after me. Really, Milbert? How low can you go? How low can you go?
But... by Malthus, you... please, you have to help me. She's completely lost her mind. It's the dust. She's not herself.
But you know what? It's too late now. You won't save him. Or maybe you will. But only over my dead body. I have nothing to lose anymore. Not that I ever had much to begin with.
Why are you doing this? Is this just about the money?
Fuck the money! I've told you how he treated me since those raiders came for us. Yes, he pays for my room, but do you think he ever came to me in all those years? Or asked me how I was? Fuck it! I'm a goddamn mess, and I know it. But it's his fault because he was never there for me. Not when our parents died. Not when the dust took me. Never! Before he sent you to get the key, he asked me himself. And that was the first time I'd seen him in years. But no. This wasn't about me. This was about his goddamn business and the money Father left for the two of us. He wanted it for himself. just like he always has.
I think I'm going to side with her just because her voice actress is better. I mean, killing him won't change anything.
Oh, believe me, it will. I'd do it just to see that fucking smile wiped off his face.
I mean, drugs?
Am I? Well, it doesn't feel like that. If it's the fucking dust, then I guess I should be grateful.
Well... Just put down the weapon.
Make me.
I really actively don't want to kill you. If we can talk this out like reasonable adults, maybe. Maybe. It's just oh jeez. Okay, fine. This is probably going to be an extremely painful death. Sorry. Wow, I think I have 1 health right now. I have ice tray health. Wait. That was extremely close, yes. That was ridiculously close. And if it wasn't for Ice Tray's last-minute donation, I don't think I would have actually made that. So thank you very, very much, Ice Tray, for managing to ensure that I survived that fight. That was a rough one. As ever. Much appreciated, Ice Tray. Let me jot that down really quick. Towards Oras. So I killed your sister. I actually didn't want to. Like, I legitimately didn't want to. It's okay, she left me some lube oil. I guess I should let him out.
Thank you. By the name of the sun, the drugs did this to her. This goddamn dust.
Was it true, though, that you never cared about her?
What? No, she rationalizes. Ever since she took her first sniff, she has changed and started to blame me for all her misery. Believe me, my friend, I did try. But the more I wanted to help her, the more she started to push me away. What happened to our family? It broke us both. Only that I managed to get back up again, and she didn't. I guess that's what it adds up to.
You know, I just noticed you have a nice outfit. Yeah, a little jewelry, furs.
Good question. I suppose at first you get your reward. Without you, I wouldn't be alive now. Here, you can take this key. It's to another slot in the bank's treasury. You can take whatever's in there. I owe you this, at least. And while I feel ridiculous to bring that up now, I promised you another book, didn't I? Which one do you want?
Let's go with elementalism, please.
Fine. Here. Now, give me some time, will you? Celia, she was a shadow of herself, but she was still my sister. I want to say goodbye properly.
Okay. So, do you think I should kill him too? Silly question. Of course we... These are bodies. I know. They cremate in this country. I was paying attention. Doesn't explain the pile of books, though. Hey, if the books were all charred, we might have some issues here. It's okay, they were all copies of Twilight. I actually once had a rather interesting philosophical discussion with someone. It basically boiled down to, would you care if really terrible books were burned? And I had to think about that one, admittedly. Because I'm not much of a all situations applied equally kind of a guy. You know, I'm more of a depends on the circumstances kind of a guy. So I had to really think about that one. No, wrong button. There we go. That's what I thought. I suppose it's not as much of a thing nowadays for books to be burned as it used to be. But the same metaphoric concept applies. The removal of something from reality. Because that's the purpose of a book burning. It's not, you don't care about that book. You're simply trying to remove it from existence, from circulation. And of course, there's always the problem that, well, if you say such and such is okay to be burned and removed from circulation, well then, does everyone else get to pick one thing that gets to be removed? I mean, think about how messed up that would be. Picture this for a moment. Imagine a society, say a vault, we'll call it Vault 137, just off the top of my head. And in Vault 137, they have copies of all this wonderful literature. However, everyone who is there has one vote, which is absolute. Once they have officially decided, nothing can undo that vote, okay? And once they lay that vote, what happens is that copy of that book is, oops, sorry, wrong hand, gone, removed, right? No one else in the vault can see it or replicate it or find it because it's been removed, it's been burned or whatever, right? Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, that sounds kind of horrible. Well, it gets worse because I want you to think about how much that would affect local politics. Picture how much people would start bartering with their votes. People think about how, like, if someone else... So first of all, if someone else tried to get rid of a book you liked and succeeded at doing so, you might get rid of a book they liked, not because you think it needs to be gone, but because they got rid of a book you liked. Simple revenge. You could also hold on to your vote. Hold it back as a sort of a blackmail. Nobody get rid of such and such, and I won't get rid of any of your books. You know, I'll hold off on my vote until, you know, as long as my book continues to exist, and so forth and so on. Political intrigue like that always fascinates me, because it's mostly an aspect of human nature and how it interacts with itself. Really? No, really. Alright, whatever.
Yes?
No. Now, to make that a little more relevant, imagine this for a moment. Imagine we are all in a vault together, and we have digital copies of a huge number of video games. However, you have the ultimate right, again, in the exact same manner I just described, to just get rid of one of those copies of the video game to the point where it's gone, off the records, and no one else can play it or use it. Think about that. All you have to do to understand why this whole book burning thing is so important to some people is you have to consider something, a video game you will love, being removed from your ability to play it ever again. Just picture that. Honestly, if I was overseer, I'd be like, alright, we're not deleting anything. That's how this is working. No one is deleting anything.
Walk blessed, my friend. You look disheartened, and I have just the right thing for you.
Bye.
A visit to our gallery. Dozens of beautiful paintings by different artists, each of them a treat for the eye. Come now, for tomorrow you may not have a chance. No? I thought so. Then have a nice day.
Hold on.
Come now, for tomorrow you may not have a chance. No? I thought so. Then have a nice day.
Hold up. You don't sound very motivated.
Well, probably because I'm not. My husband thinks running around the city and talking to every peasant who crosses my path will help us get our gallery running again. But that's just idiotic.
Just hang on, you run a gallery?
Oh, really? What makes you say that? It's not like our country is ruled by a group of antiquated conservative clerics who care as little about art as they care for the latest trend in Chilean fashion. But no, you're right. It is unusual. But even a narrow-minded country like Enderal has artists. And those artists need a place to show their work. Which is just what we do.
Okay. So, I take it the gallery isn't doing super well?
That's one way to put it. Truth be told, if the Golden Sickle doesn't decide to leave a barrel full of coin on our doorstep tomorrow, we won't be able to pay rent much longer. Especially now that my esteemed mother has decided to play hermit. Wow. Listen to me. A month ago, I would have been too proud to admit this. Now I shouted at a complete stranger.
It's okay, I'm the PC. People tend to tell me things. What does your mother have to do with anything?
She's a painter. Our best-selling painter, to be precise. Some people even came from other countries to see her portraits. At least before the war.
So why are her paintings so special? Well, she uses a brush that makes them look like they're actually alive and moving.
It's hard to describe. She's portrayed half of Ark's nobility by now. At least that's what it feels like. And she does it.
Some chefs never.
The paintings are just so intense. I don't know how else to put it. That's why people are willing to pay a fortune for them. It's crazy if you think about it.
So, what do you mean your mother's playing hermit?
Well, what I said. For months, she's not reacted to our letter, nor sent one herself. And what's worse, she hasn't sent us any new paintings. Which is one of the reasons why this place isn't going so well. And in case you wonder why we just don't visit her, my mother was always a little special. And where she resides reflects that. The Dark Valley.
Okay. I could try and visit, see if your mom's alright.
You'd do that. That's quite the offer, to be honest. A word of warning in advance. I cannot pay you. That is, unless you're interested in a painting from Prince Myth. But I warn you, they're as bad as his poems.
No, that's okay. I got it.
A little detour in a place swarming with undead eager for your blood. Right. I hope you know what you're doing. I really do. But still, I guess I'm too selfish to decline your offer. It's worth a try. My mother and I, we don't exactly have a good relationship. But still, I need to know she's all right. You said you travel a lot, so you have a map with you, right? Show me. So there you go. That's where her hut should be, at least approximately. Good luck, and thanks.
Okay, that got a chuckle out of me, Decidian. I'll admit that. That is a 3-star quest, so we're going to actually hold off on that one for a minute.
Hungry? I've got just what a weary traveler needs.
A miracle has happened. A miracle that must have been.
Okay, I thought that was a bug for a second.
Forth by Malthus himself. Telor Arenthil has returned. Yes, you have heard right. The lost heir to the throne, son of
Really? Really?
Of imprisonment by his treacherous son, returned to his position as Grand Master of the Holy Order.
Well, look who's arrived. Did you have any problems finding your way around? This city can be quite a maze if you don't know it.
It's okay, the quest objectives guided me.
Right, you're from Ostian. I almost forgot. They're quite fascinating, these places, aren't they? You can climb high, and you can fall just as deep. And every place vibrates with life.
Yeah.
Here, put this on. And before you ask, yes, it's necessary. Just trust me.
Okay, hang on. Oh, I did. He just forced me to put it on. Oh my god, look at me. Look upon me! and despair. Any of you guys ever see The Day After Tomorrow? A thoroughly terrible yet entertaining film.
And why is it Malphas who carries the Sun Temple on his back?
In my opinion. But the reason I bring it up is one of my favorite scenes is they're talking about they're trying to burn books in order to generate heat. And the guy's like, "No, I'm not going to let you burn this book. This is a priceless treasure and the nature of human existence and blah blah blah." No. And they have this big philosophical argument about the nature of long-term benefit of society and civilization and the needs of the immediacy of survivalism versus the long-term concepts of civilization. And this other guy says, "Hey, we got a whole bunch of tax code down here. I'm just saying." I love that bit.
Watch yourself. The streets aren't safe this time of the day.
So, about this fever. Usually those gifted with magic have to report their talent to the Order, and then pass a ritual that teaches them how to deal with their magic. The journey to the water is what they call it. Once they've passed that, the fever reduces to an endurable level, and new arcanists have their names registered in some kind of holy book.
Okay, that all sounds terrible.
But there are other ways to get rid of the fever, and I hope my employer can tell you about them.
Good, because that all sounds terrible. I hate paths. I hate gods. Especially gods who are dead.
Okay, almost there.
I guess that's not true. I hate gods that are dead that I didn't kill. That was my kill, damn it. KSers. I hate sand. I hate sand! That's why I drink water nowadays. Ugh. Yeah, I never got to kill Sothis, so... I killed the other two, though. Almalexia, Vivek, yeah, they're super dead. Stabby, stabby. I didn't get to kill Merun's Dagon, though. That one made me sad. I technically killed Sheagora. That counts, right?
Hold it, my sir. No civilians beyond this point without explicit permission. Who are you, and what leads you to this holy place?
Business. I'm Jaspar Dalveric, and I work for the Naramese mages.
Ah, right. The mercenary. And who's your companion?
No one.
Marijo de Luna from Ostian, esteemed holder of de Luna's Empire of Tender Fragrance, the most prestigious perfumery in all of Vin. Archmagister Marigil sent for him. Didn't he tell you?
The Archmagister. Well, that does sound like him. Fair enough, you may pass. But show this place the respect it deserves, mercenary. You too, Meister de Luna.
You have my word, fair lady. Thank you.
So I'm trying to give her a glomp here. There we go. That'll do. No, what happens, Plutonia? Oh, no, I do. Yes, I have. I have, yes. I did it during the lore run, just to show it off. Everyone's eyes.
That went better than expected.
Marija de Luna's Empire of Tender Fragrance.
Hey, it worked, didn't it? That's all that matters. Nobody will suspect someone who's already in the temple. Anyway, I think it's about time I tell you a little bit more about this employer of mine.
Okay.
His name is Constantine Firespark, and he's one of Narathzor Orenthiel's former followers, which the new Grand Master, Tealor Orenthiel, brought here by ship about 2 years ago. That means he's one of the former arch-enemies of the Order. They usually wear green, while the Order wears white or red. That should make it easy for you to tell them apart. Firespark's pretty much the eldest of Narathzol's mages, and quite well versed in magic, at least from what I've heard. Plus, he's a very gentle and likable fellow, which is why even the Keepers like having him around. Let's hope he can tell us a thing or two about these visions, and help you get rid of the fever. Come, follow me. Huh?
So what you're saying, Aleph, is you're in favor of the Lost Doctor Who episodes. That would be really cool, by the way, Maikoraito. It'd be even cooler if it was a choice. One of the things that Oblivion's quest design did most consistently was it had multiple ways to get through most of the quests. So, if you had the choice to allow Martin to do his thing, or to do it instead of Martin, that would be really awesome. I was making a joke, Aleph.
Alright, here we are. Hang on.
Although if you don't know what I'm talking about, then never mind.
Blast it! I'm just being careful. We have
Like
to.
heck we do. Give me that thing, now.
Blazes,
Blasted, blistering blazes. That's what you get for working with fumblers. I told you, we
Master
should be
Firespark.
careful. What? Now, who the heck are you? Can't an old man have a moment to himself?
You hired me. The Magister, don't you remember?
Oh, right. Joseph the Scrounger. So, why are you here? Had any luck?
Just spar. And yeah, we did find something. I
suggest you first of all tell me when I allowed you to drag your drinking mates up here. Do you need me to explain the meaning of the words highly and confidential to you?
I'm sure there's a lot you can explain to me, but let's save that for later. This particular fellow over here needs your help, to be frank. Arcane fever.
Is that so? And what exactly has that got to do with me? Let the Keepers and their holy rituals take care of it. What is it with the costume, anyway?
This man's magic is different, Meister. Just feel his aura and you'll see it. Plus, he's from Naren, just as you are.
Well, all right then, for nostalgia's sake. I really hope you're not wasting my time, though. Working with these religious buffoons is bound to make any rational thinking person go bonkers. Anyway, that chair over there. Take a seat, and I'll have a look at that fever of yours. All right then, this will tickle a little. Yeah, you're right. This aura does feel different. Complex somehow and powerful.
It's as though he has the power of the PC!
And do you really want to tell me you've only recently discovered that talent of yours? With that aura, I'm surprised that you haven't turned into an Obaya by now. Fine. Well, that is, we will help you. But first, tell me everything. How you got that magic, and how you met that scrounger.
Explain.
Pathlessness wherever you look.
I see. Regarding this vision thing, I think that your mind simply played a trick on you there. Not that it's much of a surprise, considering what you've been through. Actually, you were quite lucky that the sudden outburst of your glance didn't blow your head right off.
Let's hope he knows what he's doing.
I'm sorry, what's a glance?
By all that's holy, I won't start playing your tutor now. If you don't know about the basic functioning of magic, then read something from Balador Goldenstein.
The glance on the sea of eventualities. Alongside, but apart from the reality we're in right now, exist countless other realities, in which some events have different outcomes, so to speak.
Negative to story!
For example, with the very same people in it, only that Meister Firespark's beard is on fire. And what defines an Arcanist, someone capable of magic, is that he or she can see those other realities and let parts of them come true.
Well, look at that, Jasper. You surprise me.
That's what I'm being paid for.
How powerful an Arcanist is depends on 3 factors. How far away are the eventualities that he can see, how well he can bring parts of them into our reality, and finally, how well his mind can handle seeing other realities simultaneously with ours. Lighting a candle is easier than calling a meteor from the sky, to speak plain Inal, but as I said, read Goldenstein if you're interested in the topic. I'm not going to waste any time with lectures.
Oogie. So, multiple parallel realities. Got it. At least they explain magic. So, this chapel on the water, every time I touch one of those stones, I feel... I don't know, is this something's coming back to me? I mean, they literally call them memories in the interface, although I don't know that part.
Well, that's probably a sign that you should go easier on the booze. Skill, whether of physical or magical nature, isn't gained through touching some stones, but through hard work and discipline. Even though this screwball Enderalian talk of paths and predeterminations tries to tell us otherwise.
Doesn't make any sense. Why can't it?
Alright, whatever. It's these visions, I didn't imagine them. They felt real. You gotta believe me, Doc!
Well, if that's what you want to believe, go for it. I, in any case, have never come across such a phenomenon in over 50 years of studying magic. And now we should...
It all begins with the dreams.
What the blasted blistering blazes? Does this room look like the bosom of a whore to you? Or what makes you think you can go around touching anything you get your fingers on? These documents are confidential, for heck's sake. I knew it was a mistake to hire a thug like you. Lashery always had a weakness for...
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember you telling me something about dreams that led you and Telor Renthiel here, didn't you, Miser? And you told me that in this vision of yours, the Veiled Woman said this. It all begins with the dreams.
What? Is that true?
Yeah, actually.
Oh. Then this near-death experience you had before you woke up on the shore, tell me again, what exactly did you see in it? A room?
Glistening white light, charred bodies, but their flesh was unnatural and gray, and I heard a lot of voices. Now, I didn't actually see any of that because the cutscene wouldn't load.
Well, this is strange indeed. Anyway, for now all that matters is that we get that magic of yours under control. Whatever you clairvoyanced back there is of no use to us if you're dead as a doornail in a couple of months.
So how do we do that?
Well, that's usually a plodding process. The fever you feel is a result of your mind not being able to handle all of these possibilities, so to speak. The ritual the Enderalians practice to get the glance under control is called the Journey to the Water. Put frankly, it means 1 year of hour-long meditation, bland food, and abstinence from anything that makes life worth living. In due time, the Arcanist then learns to filter these other realities from ours, and the fever gets less and less. Anyhow, luckily enough, we Neremes know of a way to quicken that process. A shortcut, if you will. I'm not capable of performing it, but another one of us is. Her name is Lashery, and you should seek her out as soon as possible.
And here I was expecting a Fable 1 or Dragon Age 2 3 years later.
She's currently in a ruin called Old Rashengrad, not far from Ark. Just tell her that I sent you. Give me that map of yours. Okay, now you'd have to be a total idiot to miss it. I recommend leaving for the ruin straight away. And you, Joseph, you're going to come with me and show me what your trip to the Sun Coast brought forth. Hopefully, more than a bottle of honey wine and a hangover.
So...
Quite a character, isn't he? But I like him somehow. Here, I owe you this for your help back in Riverville. And in case you're in the mood for a mug of ale and a good chat, just drop by the Dancing Nomad in the Stranger's Quarter. I'll get myself a room there for the time being. With all that said, good luck mastering your magic, my friend. I'll see you around.
During the main story of Enderal, you have the opportunity to deepen your bond to several persons. Caution, these missions aren't available forever. If the main story progresses too far, the storyline of some persons stay hidden. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, sorry. Where'd he go? Oh, well. Hey, what's up? I just want to do this once. Just once. Just hold still. Hold still. This won't hurt. I swear. Hang on. Kind of. There we go. That should probably not be doing that, actually. You something you want to tell me, Jesper? No, nothing. There's nothing going on here. Trust me. Anyways. So I'm going to search for Jesper. I'm sorry. The literal quest objective is search for Jesper and the dancing. He's right here. All right. Oh, yep.
Let's hope he knows what he's doing. Yes, it makes sense.
So obviously we're going to go do the companion quest. Before it's gone forever. I think that's how we're going to focus on this. Companion quests and main quest. And the occasional side quest as they jump into our face. Like, we gotta talk to Necromancy Woman. I mean, come on.
This is holy ground, Outlander. You do not belong here.
I totally belong. What are you talking about? I'm holy. In other settings, I'm the god of the dead, and death, and undeath, and just the whole cycle, really. Ball can't stand me. Oh, God, I don't know why I'm so yawny today. I apologize, guys. Oh. Okay. Yeah, you should ask about my blade walls. I killed the demigod with one of those. Well, 4 of those. Kelemvor can go to hell. Not literally, I wouldn't want anyone to go down there, but you get the point. Kelemvor can go to the burning hells. How's that sound? Like, hey, Brody, hey, bring the wall down. What? No, bring the wall down. Or I'll stop people from dying. What? You wouldn't? No, I would. It'll be Miracle Day all over again. Please, no! Anything but that!
Well met.
Whoa, what the hell was that? Okay. No, I wouldn't wish the Will of the Faithless on anyone. Even Kelemvor. I wouldn't even wish it on Morbidian. Stream's been weird. I don't have a lot to talk about. But, you know. And I keep yawning. Oh my god.
Walk blessed.
I mean, so far the game's kind of nice. Yeah, I know. I've actually been looking for signposts, and apparently I'm just not seeing them. Because they had a thing earlier. It was like, you can use signposts to move throughout the city, and it's like, okay. And I just Apparently, I'm just keep missing them because I keep looking for them. Whatever. But you know what would actually be funnier, Leander? As I'm like, hey, Ao, and Ao's like, who are you? And I just... So then Ao's gone. You know what would be really funny is if Ao just left Forgotten Realms.
The offer stands.
Like, completely and utterly.
You're an outlander, aren't you?
Take care.
Like, I'm actually kind of curious at what point people would, you know, notice.
Hey, you came. Come on, take a seat.
Yogi.
So, tell me, how are you holding up? It must have been quite the whirlwind. Yesterday, a refugee from another country, and now a prodigy with a magic great enough to impress old Bushybeard.
I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm quite curious to see how things keep on with you. You're different. I noticed that the time we met. Anyhow, tell me, what do you make of this country now that you've had some time to look around? I figure it must be quite the change from Nerem.
Yeah, well, you're right about that.
Shoot.
Explain.
Yeah, I can picture that.
Ooh, steak.
You know,
that's delicious.
That's exactly the reason why I love inns so much. The sky can rain fire out there. In here, you'll always meet laughter and good humor. Not to mention all the good-looking men and women.
This guy back there? Like, I'm not exactly a good dancer, but... So he's also doing some weird things with his head. I don't know how to emulate that. He's just kind of... Wouldn't this be worse, then, if you're drunk? Like, this is kind of dizzying, and I'm not drunk. Or am I? I mean, I had been, you know, playing Anthem for 3 days. Some of the ladies are not to be scoffed at, indeed.
Absolutely. Though I think I've seen enough of this place by now. Of Enderal, I mean. There's a ship sailing for Calais next morning. And as it seems, it will be the last one for quite some time to come. Who knows? Maybe they still have a cabin to spare for a handsome treasure hunter.
You're gonna leave in spite of everything?
Oh well. This entire thing was more a coincidence than planned anyhow. The order needed someone with skill and discretion. I was around. End of story. I never intended to stick around for much longer. Heck, me as an ambassador of the Holy Order, could you imagine that? Not one step further, O fair maiden. Drop your garment so we may both bathe in Malphas's holy light. Actually not that bad, don't you think?
Very convincing.
Oh, you're too kind. But you know, at the end of the day, I guess I'd probably lack both the pathos and the idealism for such a profession. You know, I'm aware of how these esteemed keepers up there talk about sellswords like me. I could save 30 virgins from a Myrid on Rampage. At the end of the day, they'd always say I did it for the money, because I wanted to bed the women, or whatever. I'm driven by inferior motives, while no matter what their actions end in, they are good guys, because they do things for the right reasons.
Well, yeah.
They'd understand that it's results that matter, not intentions. What does the wise hermit say? Nothing is of less importance to the saved than the reason for their rescue. The only difference between a mercenary like me and a holy warden is that I'm at least aware of the fact that I do what I do for myself, and no one else.
So what are you trying to say, exactly?
I'm trying to say that all those heroes and self-declared messiahs are no better than everyone else. In the end, we are all selfish, because we always act in accordance to what we think we have to be like. So yes, maybe the keeper saves the farmer from the bandits. But at the end of the day, he does it because he sees himself in a certain light. You know, the funny thing is that a lot of times, it's especially those who think of themselves driven by a higher purpose who are the really dangerous ones. They don't understand what drives them, and that makes them easy to manipulate. The only thing left to do for the capable hate-monger or tyrant is to somehow combine his own ambitions with the mental image of this person. And presto, you got your perfect puppet, only waiting to dive into the next hail of arrows for their honor, their religion, or whatever they thought of this time. It's just so idiotic, you know?
Damn right.
It would be a much better place if everyone could just acknowledge that the only reason we're here is that we want to be happy.
There we go. It's like, I don't know, sounds like you're insane and evil. I guess I'm gonna have to kill you now, and then raise you as an undead. But it's okay, because I'm on a holy mission to purify the world, scourge it, if you will, and ensure that all that is left is the purity of undeath. I mean, I'm not one to talk. I've gotten into lengthy arguments with people on whether or not altruism exists, so... You know, whatever, right?
Yeah, seek bliss and avoid pain, as the wise hermit likes to say. And believe me, once you realize that that's how people just work, life is a lot better.
But don't you have some kind of, you know, goal?
Oh, yeah, I do. And this goal is called surviving. And if possible, to be able to enjoy a good glass of wine or an exciting night from time to time.
Yeah, I got a quote for that. It's called "Survival is Insufficient."
Oh, Blazes, you make it sound so dramatic. Doing something for your own sake doesn't make you selfish. But yeah, basically that's it.
Oogie. Yeah, I don't agree.
If you say so. In any case, what is empty is my glass of wine, which is why I'll take my leave now. I very much enjoyed our talk, but the ship to Killet leaves before the first cocks crow tomorrow, and I want some more time to think about it.
Yeah, I'll see you around.
Keep your chin up.
Oh, wait, sorry. It's the contrarian in me. Apologies. Yeah, I leveled. I love levels. I hate my outfit, though. Now, Eric, he loves this outfit. This is the kind of stuff Eric would... Like, in real life, Eric will wear this kind of outfit. It's kind of crazy, really. But, you know. I don't begrudge him it. He looks great in it. He can make it look good. Not me. I can't wear this. Loading. Oh my gosh. What's our vote and totals at? How many people have voted so far? I'm thinking I'll at least let it go one more day, because I doubt we'll beat this game tomorrow. Especially if I'm insistent on not cheating, which I am. I mean, it's Skyrim. This is the easiest game in the world to cheat in. It has console. You realize that if we do include Skyrim in this, in the rating system, the game is going to get a plus right off the bat for having proper and indeed the best console I've ever seen in a game. So... 64 votes. I think we'll leave it going for one more day at least. Oh wow, that's way up there. I'll have you know I'm a very high-rent Santa Claus. Thank you very much. Okay, that's a lie. I am super cheap. You could buy me with some old McDonald's. You know, it's actually funny, Caspian. I was asked what I think of the music so far. And the only thing I could say was like, well, it's better than Skyrim's music. I'm just waiting for people to descend upon me. Like a pack of ravenous wolves. Where the heck? Oh, it's gonna be down here. Duh. See, it's funny. I can only think of one Skyrim song. Excuse me, two Skyrim songs off the top of my head. There's the Skyrim theme. You know, you know that one. And then there's Secunda. That's it. There's a reason why my Morrowind playlist consists of only Morrowind and Oblivion music. Like, I don't know. I've never been into Skyrim music. Loading. While this loads, should pull up the vote myself here. What up to? 71 votes. Yeah, we're getting there. I'm surprised at how much that spread is changing. Whoop, hello.
What a beautiful day, isn't it? Just right for a purchase, hmm? All you'll ever need. All you'll ever need. But please, take a look.
It's all I'll ever need. At last. Ooh, he's got pretzels.
May your path always be even.
Hello.
Can you come up with a hypothetical example, Aleph, of your second thing?
Idiots.
Oh yeah. Let's get on some armor. Armor. God, it looks so stupid. It's an interesting way to think of it, Mark Albo. Do I not have? I guess I don't.
How may I be of service? Of course.
Come on. Okay. Well, that's why I was asking. I couldn't come up with an example either, Aleph. So, time for a trip. Actually, where's the tower? Where the Silt Striders are supposed to be.
Huh? Can I help you?
Okay, I think I see what you mean there, Al. That's actually a pretty good example, I think. Is that a tower? That might be a tower. Honestly, it's kind of a mixed bag, Cyclone Soldier, but some of it is actually very well written. And, you know, I would say in several cases is just better, especially as spoken dialogue, than Skyrim's. So it really is a flight path. Interesting. Oh yeah, he's super a dragon. I mean, dragon with a different mesh, obviously. And by mesh, I mean textures. You.
Good to hear. Where to?
I wish to fly to... I have no idea where. Hang on. How about Frostcliff Tavern?
Good to hear. Where to?
Frostcliff Tavern. There it is. Yeah! Sorry. It's a dumb reference. See, this is when Skyrim looks good, in my opinion, when it's snowy. And I know that sounds stupid, because one of the biggest early complaints about Skyrim, before Skyrim even was out, was, oh my gosh, it's just going to be all frozen, and it's going to be stupid. And they're like, no, don't worry, there's lots of different... Oh, crap. And they're like, don't worry, there's lots of different stuff. It won't be just, it won't be just, ice. Oh, geez, these are much higher level than I am. Where's the guard? Guards! Guard! Nope, we're dead. Wow! Okay. That's a thing that happened. Well...
Enter this.
Yeah, the guard just was like, I got this! Ah! Why? It's always one of those weird things, right? The high levels towns, like you have to have a town there because you need a hub, you need a place to spend money, you need a place to recover from, or at rather. But you always wonder, how do they exist in the level of areas that they are, right? Like when you go 5 feet out the door and you encounter giant death doom dire beholders, and you start to think, how are the villagers okay with this? Anyways.
Walk blessed, friend. Where are you headed?
Yeah, adventures are literally cursed. It makes so much sense. No. It's not just we're cursed. We're actually, like, we're the ones instigating, right? So they're like, why are they attacking the innocent animals out there? I don't know. Just leave it be.
Sure. Where to?
Oh god, it's actually going to show me getting on the creature this time. No! And we're off. Yeah! Anyways, I'll be right back while this loads. Hi, Baron. I was just giving Falcor scritches there. Apparently needed them. So I just realized I should say this out loud so it's on record. So what do you want to bet that the gods they're talking about that are supposedly dead are us, or were us? Don't spoil for me, obviously. That's my prediction right now. Where's this bear? Yogi. Ah, whatever. Just a burrito, Baron. That means I'd have to kill myself. Oh, God.
Shit! Get away from there! Now! By the prophet's ass, 1 second later and I would have been scraping your remains off the floor. What in blazes are you doing here anyway?
What was that?
Let's put it this way. I know how to hide when I don't want to be seen. And concerning the explosion, you stepped right into a Kyranian dust crystal. Get a little too close and wait a little too long, and you'll have your ass blown around your ears by an explosion that would put any cannon to shame.
Whatever. I was sent by a mage named Constantine. Are you Lashiri?
Lashiri? Oh my. The fellow really isn't one for names, is he? I'm Lashari, but never mind that. At least it proves you're not lying. Anyhow, I hope you're not the backup I asked for. I was hoping for someone more, impressive. No offense.
No, I'm here for some kind of ritual?
Is that so? Indeed. You have some uncontrolled magic inside you. And quite a lot of uncontrolled magic. Not bad. I've never felt anything like this before. Very well. If Constantine insists, I will perform the ritual on you. But it'll have to wait, since I'm up to my neck in this shit, as you've probably noticed. Short version or long version? Which do you prefer?
Oh, by all means, the long.
Fine. I suppose you already know that we That is me, my assistant, 2 arcanists, and 4 keepers are here to do research on, well, on something, which is exactly what we've done these past weeks. But as I went upstairs to get something a couple hours ago, I suddenly heard screaming and the clanging of metal coming from downstairs. As I looked for cover, I saw these 2 shapes in red robes vanishing into the lower parts of the ruin. I have no idea who they are or why they're here, but to me, they look like mercenaries. Anyway, fact is, my esteemed Enderalian colleagues and my assistant are still down there, together with our research, and I want them back. And before you ask, yes, you can help me. You'll have to, actually, if you want me to tame your magic. I wouldn't have a chance fighting the mercenaries by myself, but the 2 of us might be able to do it, provided you can defend yourself, which I'm quite sure you can. What do you say? Are you ready?
Sure. What have you been researching exactly?
Oh, that's hard to explain. But part of it is finding the answer to the universal question. Why do some people have the nerve to ask irrelevant questions when shit is going down around them? After we've cleaned up the mess, we can do this whole, who are you and what are you doing here thing if you want to. But this really isn't the time.
Tell me more about This Is Not the Time.
Fine, then follow me. And keep your weapons ready. I think I just heard footsteps down there.
Wait. Some shit.
You were right. Get them.
Just try. Stabbed like a pig.
That...
Hang on. What's this? The prophet's ass.
You've already said that. Why?
They're orders. My assistant, Sev. It seems he's the reason these fuckers managed to take us by surprise.
Well, that sucks. You have my sympathy.
Save it for Sev when I shove this staff up his ass and fire a thunderbolt.
I mean... wait for me! Ooh, books. Aw, burned books. The worst kind of books. Unless you're a Nazi. I guess we're going this way then. Or, okay.
Shit, can you smell that? That's fire. So, these guys really are trying to destroy our research. We have to do something. You're adept at magic, right? Take this spell and use it to put out the fires. If I'm right, the mercenaries are trying to destroy the stone fragments, and we have to stop them. You take the lower part of the ruin. Try to save as many stones as you can. I'll take the upper part, and when it's all done, we'll meet here again. Oh, and one more thing. If you should find my assistant Sev down there, try to take him alive and bring him to me. I want to take care of him myself, okay? Then let's get going.
Yeah, sure. Alright, what's the... Okay, that's kind of cool. I'll give you that. Yeah, I commented on that earlier, Bragwin. In fact, you're going to make me look this up. Damn it, Bragwin, this is all your fault and no one else's whatsoever. Especially not mine. Damn, I can't find it. I would have to go digging to actually find it. See, here's the thing. There's this guy who I knew very briefly tens of years ago, but I've been kind of following him ever since. Clyde Mandolin. He has a website called Legends of Localization. He was involved in helping to translate Mother 3. He's done a bunch of stuff. he did a comparison of Final Fantasy IV and the various translations of FF4. Not all of them, but some of them. The original Japanese, the original English, the fan translation, the GBA version, the PS1 version, and the DS version, all of which have different translations. And he commented how you start to see this kind of thing in fan affairs a lot. Now, he specifically was referring to fan translations, but I've noticed this in fan projects as well. They just kind of use cuss words all over the place. It's just weird. Like, there's no design to it. I don't know what to make of it. Anyways, point being, I don't like it. But I'm trying not to give it a negative just because I don't like it. Hello? Hello? Let me cast. Okay, I guess I'll kill you first. Enjoy your death. Hi, Gary, by the way. Die, die, die. Yeah, it's a great site. I highly recommend perusing it if you have the time. I mean, I've said this before and I've said this again. I'm kind of anti-cursing, especially when it comes to fiction. But that's mostly because I think if you're going to cuss, like really, you should make it very specific. Like, you should use it as a precise literary tool. A scalpel, in short. It should be the kind of thing where it's like, anytime they actually do cuss, that's unusual. And that's an exception, not the rule. And then that actually serves some kind of literary purpose, right? Other than just being a person talking. Like that lady just now, who just cussed me out for basically no real reason other than killing a guy. Yeah, a precision F-bomb, exactly. That I'm in favor of. Now, there is one other type of cussing that I've seen work well when it comes to fiction. Which is a lot harder to actually explain properly, but basically it boils down to... Come on, there we go. It boils down to a certain demographic? That's the wrong word. How do I say this? Grand Theft Auto, to put it as simply as possible. Saints Row also had a similar thing. Like, when it gets to a certain level... You just kind of... I don't know, it's hard to explain, but basically I would say in both cases they actually do a better job of utilizing cussing, even though they are cussing way more commonly than they are in this game we're playing right now, where it bothers me. I still feel the okay, this is ridiculous. The application of it is better. I agree. And I'm dead. I agree with Gary on the Tarantino point, but then again, I also don't like Tarantino, so that statement needs to have an asterisk next to it. But yeah, as with everything, it depends on how you do it. The cussing itself is not what bothers me, or indeed is something I like. It's how it is applied. Do you mind? I mean, look at how many gallons of fake blood any given Tarantino film uses for whether Tarantino overdoes things or not. Now, I don't like Tarantino, but I will freely admit that several of his fans have basically said the same thing to me over the years. That him overdoing it is part of the appeal. And that's fine, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you like it, sure. Right? Like, words. I can't see, apparently. I'm hurrying, you bastard. Sheesh.
You'll bleed for this, I swear it.
Hang on. Is this gonna go out? No? Okay, whatever. Well, I'm sorry, I need to make more fire here really quick.
Damn, that was close. Where? Those bastards!
Oh god. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Ah.
Despite everything I did? Oh, forgive me.
What? Huh? Okay. Anyways, what the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah, the over the top thing. Right. Like Tarantino, I've heard several people say that the whole point is the over the top thing, and I can at least understand that conceptually because Metal Gear Solid, right? Like, I'm sorry, Metal Gear Solid is an extremely over the top thing, and that's kind of part of its appeal is being Metal Gear Solid. Hi, Permius. Don't mind me, I'm just getting more people mad at me by stating my opinion. Oh, gosh darn it. Okay, fine. Come on. Fine.
Someone's there.
There's no one here. What are you talking about? There's nobody here. God, I cannot see with that lighting. And I'm dead. I didn't even see what killed me. God, I hate it when it does that thing where it's like, oh, there's a bright thing in your face, so now I'm going to make everything super dark as if you can't see. I really hate it when games do that. Fallout 3 did that periodically, too. Although usually as part of a story point. Like that, right there. It's like, bright flash, and then I can't see. I really dislike artificial eye adaptation in video games. I don't care how realistic it is, it's just irritating. That's not even going to tell me. Where am I? Well, turned around now. I know what you're thinking. Aren't you going to give that a negative? Well, not until the vote is concluded. Hey, Gary, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Where's the other one?
Oh, Malphus, be great! Hey, over here! Help me!
Yeah, I'll be with you in a minute. So, this is a mod for Skyrim, obviously, right? It's a total conversion mod. So, obviously, baseline of game, and, come on, there we go. Baseline of game, but basically completely new everything else, right? So, as a reviewer, I have a very strange question to ask myself. Do I review this including the elements that are from Skyrim, or do I only review the things that are completely new to the mod? Now, from a story perspective, obviously that's not even a consideration, because all of the story is new stuff. It's a new setting, new everything. But gameplay-wise, there are several elements of just Skyrim in here, because it's a Skyrim mod. And I have to decide if that's something that is taken into consideration for this one or not. And I'm actually very torn on this point. That's why I just put up a poll and said, alright, you guys decide. I'll give you one example right off the top of my head. You know one thing that would be a definitive positive? If we are including Skyrim? Not that. This. This is the best in-game console of any video game I've ever seen. It is searchable. It is very intuitive. It has tons of commands. It allows you to dynamically cheat, or edit, or alter, or fix. That is a positive right there. But it is the same console from Skyrim, so it only gets that positive if we're including Skyrim, right? So you see the issue here.
Someone's out there.
Because nothing about that console is new. Music's new, so that's easy. What? Why am I on fire? I mean, yeah, you get the point. This is the wrong thing. And that's true. There are quite a few negatives that I would give to Skyrim's gameplay that it would be spared from if we are doing that. So that's a thing, too. Should probably be looting these people. Another dagger of despair. There's so many of those. I wonder if it tastes like cheese. Hi. Well, actually, that's not true, Permeus. I hate to say this, but as I demonstrated during the Elder Scrolls lore run, the console actually altered a bit between Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim, basically getting better each time. In Morrowind, the syntax was stricter and had less autocomplete, and it basically had no functional search ability, and a lot of the commands, frankly, didn't make a lot of sense. Oblivion, they've polished up a lot of the commands, so most of the commands made more logical sense and were easier to do, and they filled in more of an autocomplete, but the search function wasn't all that great. In Skyrim, it's amazing. It has a full search function for IDs or codes for either mobsters or objects, or even triggers and spell effects, as well as being very intuitive and having a full autocomplete, and basically just being really well designed all around. There's a reason I praise it so much.
Well, I'll be damned. That's what I call good timing. I take it you were successful? What about the fragments? Did you save them?
Oh yeah, they're super safe.
All of them? Call me a pregnant Lyran. You really are good at what you do. You won't regret it, I swear. What about Sev? Did you find him?
Yeah.
Fuck. That little shit. I was hoping I could make him tell us who's behind all this. Well, whatever. No use crying over spilt milk, I guess. What's your name, anyway? Amidst all this, we didn't have time for formalities.
I am the Lich King of Enderal Renewer. Pleased to meet you.
You're pleased? Well, that's good to hear. I actually had the feeling that I was a little rough on you. Sorry for that, really. Sometimes I just have a short fuse. Anyway, let's talk about the reason you're here. For starters, tell me how you managed to get the old ranter to trust you.
Well,
that doesn't happen very often.
First I put a bucket on his head.
I've got time.
Explain. That's a wall. I'm over here.
Uh-huh. So, you're saying that you learned all this, the magic, the swordplay, in such a short time? That's fascinating, to say the least. And these visions, if I understand correctly, you foresaw the death of the two apothecary?
By the way, hi Soul. I don't actually know if it's improved the magic system yet. You'll notice I'm still using the same level 1 spells, mostly because I haven't found any better ones yet. But I agree, I always found magic to be pathetic to borderline on awful in Skyrim. It's actually one of the weakest aspects of Skyrim, in my opinion. So anyways, yeah, I know how crazy this all sounds.
It does indeed. But hey, who am I to judge? Here you are, the mysterious stranger who appeared out of thin air and, without much fuss, took out an entire group of sellswords. And even better, now you tell me that these skills come from studying magic for only a couple of weeks, and that you can see the future. You certainly are full of shit.
Okay, I know you're cussing, but really?
Not you, sorry. I mean, I just had a strange thought. But no, that would be crazy. Way too unlikely.
Okay. You can start talking or I can start stabbing.
Well, I'd like to speak freely, but I'm bound to my agreement with the Holy Order. However, I will tell Constantine and old Oranthiel about my theory. And you will probably have to be patient until the latter decides to put you in the picture. Sorry. But if my idea is correct, then we'll be in a position to really kick ass. Anyway, hold still for a moment. Ready? All right, let's do this. Don't worry, it'll just tickle a bit. Fuck! Are you all right? That wasn't on purpose. Really.
Okay, what?
Sorry, as I said, I didn't mean to do that. I have no idea what just happened. The ritual isn't exactly harmless, but normally you shouldn't feel more than a weak tickle at most, regardless of how it goes down. But, maybe this has something to do with the strangeness of your aura. I already said this, but it's so different.
Anyways, thank you very much, Soul. Sorry, I'm trying to fight off a coughing fit right now out of nowhere. As ever, I do much appreciate your sub and your support. Thank you. I'm glad I can help the mundane go by smoother. If there's anything you'd like to put that towards for a future stream that you're interested in, let me know. Or, and this is something I've started doing recently as today, actually, if you want to just start putting it towards Lore's Choice, you can do that too. It's up to you. Thank you.
It's hard to explain. Somehow complex and cold, maybe. But hey, I'm probably just out of practice. It worked, and that's what matters. Your fever will now settle down to an endurable level, and maybe even vanish if you're careful. And now I suggest you return to Constantine. I will get the stones to safety in the meantime. You need anything else? If not, see you later. We're going to meet again. I can feel it.
I will admit, and this is kind of going back to what Gary's talking about in chat right now. You got it, Soul. Thank you again. I'm being a little more tolerant / forgiving on this game than I can be, because it's functionally free and it's a fan mod. You know, I've been thinking about that, and I've decided that even though I am supposed to take a game on its own merits, I don't know. I guess, I could see two sides of this argument. Because on the one side, when I review Super Mario Bros. 1, I review it as if the game came out now. Now, that's because I want to analyze how well the game stands on its own 2 feet, right? To see how well the game does based on just its own merits and absolutely nothing else. But I will admit, a fairly large part of that mentality is also a deliberate war against nostalgia, which is something that I have been pushing for since I was a teenager at this point. So, so you could argue that I should take a fan game or a fan mod like this at face value. But at the same time, I do feel like, if nothing else, the price factor is something that should be taken into account when it comes to judging a game. I know I can't always do that, right? Anthem cost me $15. That's not something I took into consideration, right? Super Mario Brothers cost me however much the SNES Classic cost, or like $40 back in the day or whatever it was. That's not really a consideration. So as with everything, it tends to be kind of a case-by-case thing. But I feel like, given the level of work that's been put into this, I do actually feel like this is something that I feel safe saying, this is a fan investment, right? This is a fan mod. This is something that a bunch of people did on the side without pay. and released for free. And I feel like that does need to be acknowledged in this case. You could, of course, argue against me, and I just argued against me there. But I think in this case that this is something that should be acknowledged. Also, this game has both better and more voice acting than Anthem, but that's neither here nor there. I don't mean that as hyperbole, by the way. This game objectively, literally has more voice acting than Anthem, and it is my opinion that it has better voice acting than Anthem. And that's true. Anthem isn't a $15 game. Anthem was a $60 game that I exploited to get cheaper. So that is valid. I also agree that some of the actors in this are actually pretty good. My favorite so far is the narrator. The guy who was reading the book earlier. He was actually very good. I liked him quite a bit. What are the stone fragments for?
Well, put simply, they're supposed to protect us. But old Aranthiel will tell you more about it later.
Of course he will. Whatever, fine. I'm leaving.
Take care.
Weirdo. Oh my gosh. Of course. Where do you want me to go? Good night, Lycon. Have a good evening. No, I want... L. There we go. Okay, that's what I thought. I will also say... I am admittedly impressed at how finished this game looks. This mod looks. You know, this is actually pretty impressive. Make of that what you will. I will say this. If I find any of the voice acting to be particularly bad, then I'll ding it. But I'll probably put an asterisk by it, like being like, you know, ding within reason, or make it part of an aggregate or something. And I only point that out because so far I haven't heard any of the voice acting that's actually really bad. I've heard some bland voice acting. I've heard some people who are just reading lines, but only like 2 or 3 of those. Yes, I do, actually, Plutonia. I should go ahead and turn that off since it's no longer pissing me off at this point. There we go. Oh, blur. Feel the blur. God, look at that. Anyways. But yeah, like, the woman I pointed out to Platty, where I was like, don't do this. I can't even remember what it was, but whatever it was, that wasn't good voice acting. The guy who played Jesper, he was actually pretty good.
This is holy ground.
And of course, the guy who was doing the book was excellent.
Now, if it isn't the prodigy.
This guy's pretty good too. So, there's some problems.
Yes, I know. She's already told me everything. Good work, even though part of her report seemed to be a bit enthusiastic. But I'll leave the judgment to Aranthiel. He wants to talk to you anyway. Seems you've caught his interest.
Okay. Where can I find him?
In the Emporium, the last building on the left side of the temple. Just tell the guard that Aranthiel has asked for you, and they will let you in. Ah, yes, before I forget. My dame Lucy has left a token of gratitude for you. It's your choice. Do you want a book, an old map, or a bag of pennies?
I'm just curious. If I say one, what do you do with the others? Do you just keep them?
Very well. Now get a move on.
I'm just curious how that works out.
Again later.
Whatever. I took the book.
Now, if it isn't the prodigy, well...
Now, there is a very real problem with recurring lines. You know, I think that enemy got the point, is a very bad issue in this game. How many times earlier when we were escorting Jesper here, did we hear him say the same, "Oh, you're going off on your own" line? Like 5 or 6 times within just a few minutes. And every single female highwayman or bandit we encounter says the same, "Oh, you're all out on your own." They never learn line. Every single one of them. So that is a problem. In fact, I should probably, in the interest of fairness, jot that down as a potential negative.
This is holy ground.
This is holy ground, Outlander. Hang on. And now they're not doing it. They were doing it earlier.
This is holy ground, Outlander. You do not belong here.
Seriously, earlier they were doing the "this is holy ground, Outlander" thing like 3 or 4 times in a row. It was horrible. Anyways, thank you very, very much. Very, very much, Prismanza. I swear I can talk. As ever, much appreciated for that support and for that sub. Thank you very, very much. If there is a future stream you want to put that towards, if there's something you're interested in, then just let me know, and I can go ahead and jot that down for it. Otherwise, if you just want to put it towards Laura's choice, that's up to you too. Thank you. Yeah, pretty much, Gary. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm willing to be nice, but... there's an actual proper term for that, for when characters just repeat their same dialogue over and over and over and over again. There's actually a term for that. Oh my god, Aleph. Whatever. Repeated dialogue from NPCs and enemies gets pretty bad at times. Okay, my choice. So, as soon as I introduced the my choice thing, now everyone's doing it. So let's see. Let me pull up the HUD here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 for story. So 3 potentials. I haven't really codified any of those yet. 2 potential negatives. And then 1 definitive positive. And 1 potential negative for gameplay. I think that's it. We're probably not going to have a lot of gameplay pluses or negatives until we finish that poll. That's crazy, Gary. If that was true, I never would have done Anthem. Oh, God, kill me. Oh, it's in my dreams. I hear the anthem in my dreams.
And to send an entire division across the sea because of a suspicion is madness.
We need to find out who sent the mercenaries. This Pegast said that they were after the Signet Stone, and if they succeed in getting hold of it next time, then the Black Guardian alone knows how to stop the cycle.
The cycle. Listening to you talk almost makes me forget that all this fuss here is merely based on some bad dreams you and your Neremese friends had.
The threat is real. Deny it as much as you like, but deep inside, you feel it as much as I do.
Tila, you're a commander, and a commander doesn't care about feelings, but about facts. You have made this mistake before, Tilor, back then in Kira, and we all know...
The mission will happen. I'm sorry.
You have a visitor.
Hey, what's up?
So, you are the prodigy everyone is talking about. Interesting. I am Teolar Aranthia, son of Larius I and Grandmaster of the Order, and I'm honored to meet you. What is your name?
Yeah, Errol Renewer.
Yes, and I will come straight to the point. You are here because I believe that you are special.
Well, I'm the PC.
Humanity faces a threat that needs to be stopped. And to achieve this, you are indispensable.
You're talking about the Red Madness, aren't you?
Among other things, yes. I do not need to explain to you that the present situation on Vin is chaotic. The wars, the living dead, common people who are losing their minds, to name only the most obvious. What most people are not aware of is the connection between these events. You, however, have encountered it, as have I.
Also, really quick, Aleph says, can we get an extra positive for this game being better than Anthem? No, then I'd have to give virtually every game out there a positive. We could give Anthem another negative for being worse than other games. I'm kidding. The visions, so you know where they come from?
I do. And I will explain everything to you. What it means, who we are, and what your part in all of this is. Come, follow me.
Okay.
You already know who I am. My entire life, I served the gods who ruled Vin, until their death 2 years ago. What you probably do not know is that the one responsible for their death is my son, Narazul Aranthial.
Dun dun dun!
He hated the Lightborn because he believed that they robbed mankind of their right to freedom, so he strived to overthrow them. He found followers, formed an army and declared war on them, and thus on me, a servant of the Lightborn as well. It all ended in a battle 30 years ago, which Narazul won. He killed every single survivor except for me, and locked me in a dungeon on Nerim. I still do not know why he spared me.
He loved your armor. Hang on. So if he was your son, why do you hate the gods so much? Shouldn't he have been more, devoted?
There were circumstances favoring the development. But it's a long story, which we won't discuss now.
Okay. So the Lightborn are dead. Cool. If you, the Order of the Gods, acknowledge that fact, why don't people know about it?
Good question. Because at the moment, stability is the highest good. Even more so considering what we are facing. The rulers of Kira and Kile both made the mistake to acknowledge the death of the gods to their people, and the civil wars that followed in their countries are evidence of the chaos that such a revelation entails. Enderal is the cradle of the Order of the Gods, the epitome of theocracy. It is unthinkable what would happen if we confirmed these rumors.
But
I am sure you understand this. Maybe when all this is over that will change, but for now it is imperative that we deny all rumors of that kind.
Good night, Loner. So hang on. The gods are dead. They're dead. They're super dead, right? And I'm totally the gods. So that means you're going to kill me. But more to the point, I actually kind of agree with his overall philosophy of let's not let everyone know about this right now. Because, as he says, this is a theocracy. This is a heavily religious country. So that would cause some issues. Mass chaos, panic in the streets, cats and dogs living together. But at the same time, I don't like his maybe someday thing, because that truth has to come out at some point. Otherwise, you're either praying to literally nothing, which in a setting which used to have gods can cause problems, or B, you're going to try to replace them with something, which in a setting that used to have gods will absolutely cause problems. But we'll go with it for now.
Yes, after more than 30 years, when the death of the gods made the magic around the prison disappear. And during my escape in the northern mountains of Nerim, I also had them for the first time, the dreams. I always saw the same glaring, terrible light. Heard screaming, and I felt like I was burning up from the inside.
Oh, welcome. Pay close attention. Hopefully you'll learn something.
Knowledge of
Sorry, that startled me a little bit. Thank you very, very much, BBG, Mr. Com. As always, I do appreciate that support and those donations. Thank you. In answer to your question, no, I haven't really... I mean, I've talked about the show Andromeda several times, actually, because I've actually watched the show Andromeda. I have no plans to do a rumination of it, because right now our show stuff is fairly clogged for years. Like, right now, Mondays is the TNG stuff, and Tuesdays is the DS9 stuff, right? And that's going to last us well into next year and possibly into 2021. I'm not actually sure about that. And then after that, we're going to be covering Enterprise and TOS. So, that being said, we have the other side feature called Mini Nations. I officially call them Mini Ruminations for the sake of clarity, but I always think of them as Mini Nations, where I basically just kind of race through and do like a quick 5-6 minute thought on each episode. I did that for Star Wars: The Clone Wars already. And several people have put interest into and donations towards me actually doing Mini Nations and several other shows, including Andromeda. So if you have any interest in that, you can just let me know, and I can just kind of put that in that pile if you want, because you can put that donation towards something if you'd like to. And if you don't want to, that's fine too. Either way, thank you for the support. Discovery Rumination. You know, to this very day, I can't even... literally to this day, because this happened earlier today, I can't even bring up The Last Jedi without people discussing it or arguing about it. And yet, the Discovery thing has just kind of died down. Have you noticed that? Like, people were like, wah, right when Discovery first came out. And now it's just like, yeah, whatever. There's something weird about that, isn't there? Anyways.
At first, of course, I dismissed these dreams as the delusion of a man close to death. So I concentrated on making it through the mountains somehow. 2 days after my escape, I was completely exhausted, and I would have died if a former acolyte of my son had not found me.
Wait, an acolyte of your son? Weren't they your enemies at that point?
Yes, but he did not recognize me, and brought me to their headquarters instead, an old monastery in the mountains. The others were aware of my identity, but for whatever reason they did not kill me. Maybe because they thought that the death of the Lightborn had made me insignificant. I do not know. Still, even after my recovery, the dreams continued. At first, I doubted my sanity, but after some time I told the leader of the mages, Constantine, about
Malphas's
them.
blessings.
And he said something that I'd never expected. I was not alone. He, as well as many others magically gifted on Vin, dreamed the same dreams. And the more we talked about the matter, the stronger our suspicion grew, which has now turned out to be the truth. The dreams, they come from the same place. They are a shared memory.
I'm sorry. So the dreams originate from what? A common mind?
A collective subconscious, yes. I know that you can feel it too, and probably far more intense than we do. But like you back then, we were not able to make sense of the images. So we went looking for answers in the remains of the civilization that was before us, the Pyreans.
Of course there's an ancient race. God dang it, there's always an ancient race. So what'd you find out from the ancient Protheans, who are actually the frickin'... Oh god, I can't think of their names all of a sudden. The Rakata. So we got the Rakata, the Protheans. You know, whatever.
3 things. First, there were many civilizations before us and before the Pyreans. Maybe hundreds, maybe thousands. Second, the history of each civilization unfolded and still unfolds according to a pattern. They emerge, they blossom, and at some point, at the apex of their existence, they simply disappear without any trace.
The Reapers!
Everything that has happened in the past years, and which is still happening, indicates that this disappearance lies ahead of us. We are part of an eternal loop, a cycle, and our cycle is approaching its end.
It's a good thing that they got the characters that do the most dialogue to have the best voice actors. You noticed that, right? Like, he's pretty good. So, you mean the chronicles of each civilization are identical?
Not identical, but one can split them up into episodes which repeat themselves in the very same manner, into patterns.
So this is your explanation for the Red Madness and the wars?
Yes, dramatically put, they're the envoys of the end. Yes, it does. At first we considered it absurd, as probably you do at this moment. But there came a moment when we simply could not deny it anymore. We began to study the history of the Pyreans more intensely, and the parallels were extraordinary. In its early days, the Pyrean Empire was split up by a disaster, just like Vin was split up by the Starfall after the reign of the Eterna. Also, the Pyreans had a ruling caste who declared themselves gods after the catastrophe. The two castes of the Sun Priest. They, too, ruled until they were overthrown. This overthrowing was followed by an outbreak of wars and chaos. And then, just like that, the Pyreans ceased to exist. They knew it was imminent, but they could not prevent it. They called this event the Cleansing.
Didn't they do anything about it? And yes to both questions, Permius.
They tried, but they failed. Who knows why? Maybe they found out too late, or maybe they were too weak.
He called them the Pyreans, Cubic Skull. How in blazes can an entire civilization just disappear?
That is the question we need to find an answer to. The end was not violent, at least not in a sense as we know it. There was no natural disaster, no magical explosion, no plague. Even though there was war in the Pyrean Empire before its ruin, when the cleansing happened, it was as if all living beings simply fell down and died. It is ghastly.
So where do I come in?
Well, this is the reason why we need your help. Not only episodes of history recur within every cycle, characters do as well.
I'm sorry, characters recur?
Yes. The Pyreans call them the emissaries. They emerge very shortly before the cleansing occurs, like a law of nature, an answer to the Red Madness. And I am one of them, as are you. While I take on the role of the ruler, you take on the role of the prophet.
I don't actually want to be the prophet. Can we not do that? Is that cool? Is that a thing we can do? Preferably.
It's just a description. Call it what you will.
Good night, Myron.
Without doubt, it is the truth. Your story matches the descriptions perfectly.
So that's why you have the Nemeries here. Firespark, Pegas, Sharim.
Yes. Former enemies or not, both sides have understood the magnitude of the threat. The magical knowledge of Narazul's former mages is vast, as is the power of the Holy Order. Even though not all of the Keepers agree, as you probably have already noted yourself.
Okay. Why me?
I do not know. Firespark the Mage has told me your story, and even though your fate is tragic, unlike me, you were insignificant before your change. So maybe everyone can become an emissary, or we simply have not understood the pattern yet.
Right. Is something controlling me then? It's controlling us?
No. As I already said, the emissaries simply appear at the beginning of the end, like pieces on a chessboard. We are determined by our skills. How and to what end we use them is our choice.
So what exactly defines the prophet?
On the one hand, your power. You carry the potential to master any skill within a fraction of the usual time needed. I assume you have already realized this. On the other hand, your ability to look into the past, and therefore into the future.
Okay. I'm sorry, past and therefore future? Huh?
Your visions are a window into the past. And as every cycle is based on the same events, it is a window into the future as well. You can feel the thread this world is woven with. And because of that, you can see things that have happened, and thus will happen again. This gift makes you indispensable to us, and it is why I want your help.
Why do you think we can overcome it if hundreds have already failed?
That is the wrong question. The correct question is, what alternative do we have? To wait and die?
Fair. Alright. If I can help, I will do so.
Good. However, there's one more thing before the actual work begins. I want you to join our order. And to do so, you have to pass a test. A trial.
You want me to join your religious order in service of gods who are dead?
It is. Whatever you think about our story, we are the only faction that is strong enough to oppose the cycle. If you want to be part of our mission, you need to have access to our knowledge and resources. There will be voices in the Order speaking against your admission, as they are speaking against the presence of the Naramese mages. Consider it an honor or a necessity. It is up to you.
Right. Alright, what's the test?
It is the trial the novices have to pass in order to be exalted to the role of a keeper. Only the best students of the Squalor are allowed admission, and even though you have not been a novice, I want you to take it too. At this very moment, 2 novices are on their way to the testing grounds. I have informed them about your arrival.
Okay, 2 novices?
I have only a slight acquaintance with them. However, I know that they are both very talented and have been working hard toward the test. But see them for yourself.
Alright, where do I find them?
At the border to the Heartland, near the Whisper Wood. They will be waiting for you there. Take the Myret, talk to Signet Master Bartar, and hand him this package. And then follow his orders. One more thing. It might be self-evident, but keep your knowledge about the death of the Lightborn to yourself. I do not believe you can do any real harm, but in the worst case, path-abiding people will consider you a heretic. After the cycle has been stopped, we will deliberate upon how we deal with the matter. If and how we tell our people about it. But not now, that is for sure. Now, leave. The sooner we can dispense with this formality, the better.
Okay. Right. I guess I'll just go join the religious cult order of dead gods. I wonder if the dead gods still dream. Yeah, that's what I thought. Let's get our correct spell going here. I have to agree that... Oh, hey.
Now look at that. It's the Prodigy.
I just wanted to say hi. Don't mind me. Hang on. So, that was actually pretty decently done exposition. And in fact, I'm reasonably impressed with how the voice actor helped a lot. But he also managed to go ahead and just kind of lay everything out in a nice, cohesive fashion. It was very well written. And so, good writing, good voice acting, I'm with it. I do find myself wondering, because I know this sounds so strange to say this, but it feels like the wrong decision to have a huge chunk of exposition in the middle of a video game like that. I know a lot of games do that, but I stand by my statement. I feel like that might not be the best way to execute that. I actually need to go this way. Is there seriously an invisible wall here? Come on! Come on! Let me jump to my death, game. Let me do it. I can Skyrim down here. So of course, obviously, as I usually do, my first thought goes towards, what can we do differently? Now, they kind of already halfway did what they could have done differently, because they tried to weave gameplay into narrative by having it they've actually been doing this the whole game, bouncing back and forth between the standard Skyrim cutscene, where, you're staring at the person and you're talking, and you can move the camera around, but that's the only real interaction you can do other than dialogue choices, and you following them as they're actually talking. I don't think that's an ideal solution, but I think it's at least something. I don't know how feasible it would be within this type of engine, and of course I'm not going to say any kind of blame towards the mod writers who have been doing an excellent job with this, but I find myself wondering how feasible it would be to have, like, basically the narration clip attached to the PC's target and have the narration and the dialogue happening while you head towards your next quest objective. For example, everything that I'm doing right now. Imagine if, as I'm going, you could hear in the background, da 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 da, and then the things died, and now we're all going to die as well. Just so you know, we are all incredibly screwed. That kind of a thing. In a movie, what they would do is they would have it where you can, you have a chunk of, like, action happening, and then it cuts back to the expository scene where they're explaining, and then cuts back to the action while the exposition is still playing. It's a very typical movie, film, and television trope. I don't know what to call that. Technique, I guess, is the right word. In a game, usually I don't see games try to accomplish something like that. The only time I see games do anything even approximating that is when you're on a headcom. Borderlands being an example of that, but several other sci-fi-y games tend to have that sort of, you're on a communications line with someone.
Exhausted soul, aren't you? Are you sure you want to keep going like that?
I'm fine. Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if that's actually possible within this kind of engine at all, Plutonia. I'm not sure. The last time I modded an Elder Scrolls game would have been Morrowind. Although I did tinker with some Oblivion mods, but that was editing existing mods, not crafting whole new ones. Alright, so I need to go where? Border of the Heartland.
Still on the... Good to hear. Where to?
The border of the Heartland. I feel like I just said this. Yeah. Like I said, I'm not sure how feasible it would really be to actually do that. Of course, the alternative is the old adage of just try to pare down the exposition. Try to say the same amount of information with less dialogue. But that's not necessarily a bad thing either. And again, it's worth noting that I do praise the writing we just saw. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and jot something down that I've been meaning to do. So that's going to be our fourth hypothetical. Whoa! There we go. We're back. We're back. God, this helmet looks so stupid. We look so stupid. Oh, hey. It's a bank. Actually, I do want to put a few things in here. that. In fact, let's just do, like, all of this. Because I don't know if I want any of this in the future. I'm just hoarding, just in case. Yeah, no crashes so far. None. Zippo. I would wonder if there's housing in this game, but I have a really weird feeling there isn't. Call me crazy, but I think that we're all going to die horribly, so we're not going to have a time to have housing. Nice. Oh, I guess not. Let's just get rid of this stuff. Hello, Father Marseille. It's not really on purpose, per se. There is housing!
So little time.
Oh, then we must find the housing. And conquer it! Hey, what's up?
Yes?
Hi, Grandmaster Aranthiel sent me. I'm supposed to take the trial to be a keeper.
Oh, yes. You're the prodigy. I was expecting something else. I hope you're aware of what you're getting yourself into. Our novices trained for years for this trial. And as much as I respect the Grand Master, I think this is naive. In other words, it will be dangerous. Be aware of that.
Right. I mean... at least it means it's not boring?
Oh, look at that. It's a bold swashbuckler. But fine, as you like. Then it seems I'm granted the extraordinary honor of exalting the first pathless in the history of the Order to a keeper. The others will scream for joy. Give me the package the Grandmaster gave you, and say hello to your new comrades. I have to go prepare something.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll go have a chat with them. Hi.
I don't want to hear it.
I'm sorry, what?
You're prattling. I don't want to hear it. Just shove off.
Okay, princess.
Heretics. Get lost.
As you wish. This would be a negative to gameplay right here. Hi.
What? Oh, hello.
Hi.
You're our unexpected addition, aren't you? The prodigy?
That's me, yeah. Call me Errol Reneur. It sounds less awkward.
It does, actually. I'm Kalia Sakaresh, by my path novice and aspirant to the First Sigil. I have been told what you did in Old Rashengrad, that you saved the excavations and fought back the mercenaries all on your own. An astonishing feat, truly. You have my respect for that.
I mean, it probably wasn't as glorious as you're picturing it.
Maybe, yes. Sometimes death is the only logical consequence of our actions. You know, I'm really curious as to what the mercenaries thought they were doing. Someone willing to attack the Holy Order is either extremely powerful or extremely naive. Anyway, it's been an honor to meet you in person. Let's talk later.
Sure, thanks.
All right, enough of the chatter. Come here. Here. These potions will be necessary later, so be careful with them. Apart from that, it's still a few miles to the ritual place. As you're all gifted with magic, the spores in the forest ahead will make you a little dizzy, but we won't stay for long. Any questions?
Yeah, why do their heads keep following me around?
Long story. Simply put, they come from a special kind of mushroom that has infested this forest, and staying near them worsens the Arcanist's fever. So, in case you're thinking about exploring further, take some magical protection and some ambrosia with you.
Okay, thanks for the information. Let's go.
Good. Stay close to me.
Do I have to? I have to, don't I? Whoa, I leveled. Woo. Infinite power, etc., etc. You know, before we do this anymore, hang on. I'm going to adjust reality really quick, if that's cool with you. You know, like you do. Let's see here. Let's go with that one. Insert Skyrim joke here. I wonder if there's a respec. I should check for that. Or does anybody know?
But it's too late for that now. Korek would have conquered the city. Instead, you will be ashamed.
I have got to stop having that much ice cream before I go to bed. Ugh. Hey, pretty mushrooms. Where did they go? That's not a game breaker upon a time. Wow, this is not doing a lot of damage. Look at that. Holy crap. And that is all of my mana. Wow. Killed by 3 beetles. Yikes. Oh no, this is gonna do this again. Yep, there it is. And then there was loud voices. Nothing but loudness. As it is super duper loud. There we go. Figured I'd make it quieter for you really quick. Do I not? Suppose I don't, do I? That's what I thought. I'm debating, sorry. You know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and chop off here, actually. Not only is it basically approaching the time when I would chop off anyways, and I have to go get a couple errands done really quick, but I feel like I want to look up a couple things. Like, where the hell I can get better spells. So for those of you on YouTube,